Hello there, welcome to Poker Night Live. I'm Matt Broughton, going to be with you for the next 4 hours as we bring you the very best in online poker action. And joining me tonight offering expert commentary and analysis is Mr. James Browning. Good evening, Mr. James Browning.
Hi, Matt.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, not bad. A bit tired. Just travelled down from Newcastle, but I'm sure that I'm going to get
a couple of high-energy drinks in him. He'll be flying, hanging off the ceiling. And as well as myself and the super hyped-up Mr. James Browning, there's you, the audience. This is a fully interactive show. We appreciate all of your comments. Join in with us. Ask us any questions, anything you'd like to hear us discuss. You can get in touch with us a couple of different ways. You can text us here on 84222, 84222. Begin your message, please, with the word poker, and then whatever it is you'd like to put in your message. You can also email us here, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And don't forget also, in the breaks and after the show, check out our website, www.pokernightlive.co.uk, to learn more about us, and also visit our super forum. And before we get cracking tonight, I'm going to ask James if you'd be so good as to take us around the tables we have on offer.
I will, but on condition that you ask me to take it round the tables. Ask me in the German accent you do in rehearsals.
No,
come on, no.
Saving that for later on the night when
tables
spirits need a bit of lifting.
I won't take around the tables then.
Fine. Okay. Well, if you're not taking us around the tables, I'm not taking us around the tables. Are you going to take us? No.
Oh, you're shy.
Just put me on the spot now. It's too much. Can't take the pressure.
It's great.
If you would, James.
We loved it in rehearsal. Did it? He had us all rocking. Never mind.
That was just private. That was just for us.
Right. It's a $5 sit and go, and this is the old structure where you get 1,000 chips and the blinds go up every 10 hands. Ooh, look at this. Quite lively here.
Oh, that's not too shabby, is it?
One bad ace.
Hang on here just for a second. Nice to pick up a big hand. First screen of the night. There's going to be some card door slamming tonight.
Surely. Oh. No, there we go.
Right. It wasn't quite as exciting as we thought, really, was it? What a shame.
$10 sit and go, and this is where we get 2,000 chips, and the blinds go up every 12 hands. So this is the long structure. Now it's a cash game, 25 cent, 50 cent. Maximum buying $50, and we have 8 warriors there already battling it away.
You're right there, James. You do know this is the poker program tonight, don't you?
Yes. And now $10 multi-table tournament, but with a bit of spice.
Ooh la la!
It's a rebuy tournament, and they can have an add-on as well.
Ka-ching.
So they might ka-ching a bit of money in this one.
Well, exactly, it's always nice to rebuys. Get a new juicy prize pool there, and we're going to actually start off by taking a quick stop on some of the tables in the MTT, and we will give you the details about that as we go along. So let's jump straight into that first.
Yeah, dive in. We started off with 92 runners in this tournament, I believe. Is that right, Matt?
We did indeed, sir. Down to 84 already.
And but there's we're still in the rebuy period here. I think it's about still about 30 minutes of the rebuy left.
Yeah, so there's just over $1,500 in the prize pool right now, but by the time that period ends,
who knows?
Who knows? It could be anything.
Could be 1,510.
Exactly. So everyone that said, "Well, it's only a $10 tournament," yep, and then you rebought 6 times, didn't you? Don't tell the wisses, the misses.
The wisses.
The wisses.
Is that German for misses?
The wisses. Look, I'm not doing the German thing again, all right? I wish I'd never even started it. Now.
It was good. Yeah. I think you might before the end of the night.
Yeah, I'm sure around the 1:45 time I shall start flagging and it will just come out.
Good.
So
and you can do the German bit as well.
Look, I'm just going to try and do everything I can to get you off this German thing, all right? I don't want to insult anyone. It was just a bit of fun. So James, tell us about multi-table tournaments. These guys here, it's early doors, 15:30, plenty of chips to play with.
Yes, and actually it is a rebuy tournament, so therefore one can actually look for opportunities to accumulate a nice stack of chips.
Oui, monsieur.
So it's basically, you've actually got, it's even more play because it's not your whole tournament life at risk, because you have another tournament life probably in your pocket.
Indeed. Now, do you have to, I mean, that said, we've just made the joke about it being a $10 tournament, but actually it can be much more. If you're sitting into a rebuy, what sort of amount of buy-ins do you need to kind of be prepared? Is it unrealistic to expect that you're just going to buy in and win the thing? Do you need to be prepared?
Well, I mean, if I go to rebuy tournament, I'm hoping that I don't have to rebuy. I mean, because therefore I'm going to be getting sort of extra good odds to my money, because the more rebuys which are happening around me, if I can manage to accumulate chips early on without rebuying, that's wonderful. Now I'm really in bargain basement territory now. But that's tough. So I personally never restrict myself to how many buy-ins I have, because it's basically the only thing which would alter my judgment would be if you're in a tournament where they keep on putting up the blinds in the buy-in period, and you came to perhaps the last couple of hands and the blinds were so big you had no play whatsoever. Yeah. I would probably say I surrender. I'm not playing anymore, because it's just there's nothing here. There's no play. So. But if there's still play with the buy-in, then you're getting value because there's all that extra money in the tournament. Now, you actually forget about how many times you've bought in yourself, because that's irrelevant. This is just as if you're walking down the Las Vegas Strip and they say, $10 tournament, step in here, it's already in progress, and there's so much money in the pot. Do you want to put your $10 in?
Yeah, true,
and you
I
say,
like that.
Oh yes, that sounds, oh look, all that money, my goodness, yes, some of the guys here bought in 14 times. There's some big chip leaders, but there's plenty of time in the tournament. Oh, I think I'll have a go. That is what you're doing. Yeah. So you forget about how you got to this situation where you need to rebuy. That's irrelevant. It's just a fresh judgment decision you've got to make.
I get you. I like it.
Good.
Is that not burying one's head in the sand to a certain degree? About is that is that a good way of taking your bankroll management?
No, in fact, this method is in fact what you should be. No, when you go to a rebuy tournament, you be aware. If you keep track of your rebuy tournaments, you'll find out what your average rebuys are. In fact, that's what I would recommend you do. So all the time, keep notes on your rebuys and see exactly over time what your average amount of rebuys. So this will give you a good idea. Bankroll wise, what sort of tournament you could be playing in. No, I just think in poker generally, we would all play a lot better making decisions if we forgot how we got to that position and just now analyse that position and focus in on it, and rather think, oh goodness, if I hadn't lost that pot, and how could he have done this and how. That's all side issues. Think about that later if you want to walk home or you drive home. At the moment, say, I have so many chips, this is it, this is that, what do I do?
This is the proposition right now.
Exactly.
Well, as we see
Heaven.
The button go all in with 2 pair.
But what I would be trying to do in this rebuy tournament is I would probably be trying to limp in quite a lot of times. Trying to connect a really big hand. Yeah. And so I'd be playing sort of quite really even more trappy style poker in the early stages.
Well, that's a nice river. For our C8 player who finds somebody who wants to play and doubles it up and gets
through. Fips. 2 pair.
See, I'm going to struggle. Some of the contacts aren't in properly. I can't read any of those names.
Oh, right.
Seat 1, Seat 2, Seat 3, Seat 4. No, I can't read. Just, if only they make the font a bit bigger. Now, of course, rebuys are an acquired taste. A lot of people aren't super keen on rebuys as a tournament structure because of the propensity of maniacs to make it a bit crazy at the beginning. Is there a huge difference you have to accept when you sit down of how people are going to behave and how they might change once that rebuy period's over?
Listen, every poker player plays poker differently, and now you just have to watch your players and see just how free and easy they are with their play because they're in a rebuy period. What you have to remember in the rebuy period is basically you need to find hands. Forget about bluffing in the rebuy period because people are too brave because they can just rebuy again.
People will call with best part of anything.
This is not a time to think, oh, I'll just do a re-raise and get him to put it down. Yes, dream on, pal. The re-raise, his money will be in quicker than yours was. It doesn't make any difference. So that's not the period to do that. So therefore, I quite like. Actually, I've just been in Newcastle at Aspers, and I've actually played 3 days of tournaments there, and they're all rebuy tournaments, and very, very pleasant, and good turnout. Say like 69 people for the £50 tournament, and 63 for the 25, and 70 or something for the 30. But these are all rebuy tournaments. Now, watching the players there, you could see all the different players have got different styles. But the main thing I came away from it with was there's no point trying to get anyone to put it down the rebuy. And that is the thing. I actually had quite a nice trip, actually. I came second in the £50 one and fifth the following night. So
excellent. Well, that's what
fun.
we want to hear.
But the good thing is, if you do play quite solidly in the rebuy period, then this is a tournament where there's an add-on. I'll probably have the add-on. This is something we'll touch on as well. I will have an add-on as long as I'm increasing my stack by at least 33%.
Okay.
So therefore, if you're getting 3,000 chips in the tournament and you've got 9,000 chips, I'll still just have the add-on. I'm on the cusp.
Yeah, it needs to be making a fairly juicy difference to your stack to invest the money. Yep.
Now, if you want to be, that's just a guideline. If you want to be extra studious about it, you'd check exactly what the chip situation was in the tournament, and also your table.
Yeah.
Because how you are at your table is very important, because you don't want to be pushed around by people, or all of a sudden it'd be good if you can still manage to keep the chip lead at that table, for example, because now you can actually take a bit more control.
Yeah.
So I would bear that in mind as well with the add-on. But the thing is, if one plays sort of quite, trappily and not trying to raise up the pot, I would try to keep the pot small and just look to really try and connect and hope some loose player is now going to pay me off.
Yeah.
Now, I'd played in one of them, some said, you've never done a raise, you've never raised or whatever. However, when the rebuy period finished, all of a sudden, I'd re-raised twice, and I'd raised it, all of a sudden just switched gears. Yeah. But of course this worked very well, because they say, well, this guy never raises.
Exactly. So you built a rock-like image, but actually it's just a response to the state of the tournament.
Play, that's right.
No, I mean, I must say, I don't mind rebuys. Tournaments, I tend to just accept that there's going to be maniacs, but I'm not prepared to be one of them. But what I've found is that I love it if there's a real maniac. I played in one recently where the guy sat down and he had a bunch of actual £5 value chips, and he literally was all in every hand without looking and just rebuying. But of course it means your table compared to the other 10 tables, there's far more value on that table, so that when that rebuy period finishes, by rights, everyone that's been involved in this table stands a chance of moving on when the tables start breaking down with a bigger pro rata.
If you're going to pick where's the win of the tournament going to come from, you're going to pick this table. Yeah. And that is one of the random things in it. If you're at a table where you've got several maniacs, they say, oh, look at that table, the chips are they're up here. It's unbelievable. Of course, that does make a difference. But tournaments is it takes a long time. One shouldn't worry too much about an individual. In fact, I've seen people play badly just because they've seen someone with a big stack of chips and they worry about it too much. Just check out your chip stack in relation to the average chips, etc., etc. And you'll say, oh, I'm okay, he's very rich at the moment, but so what? You know? Later on this tournament, the blinds will be so high, in 2 hands, you'll probably could capture the chips. Yeah, yeah.
Well, we just saw their Equinox taking Chiss and Phipps all out, and it's funny how it goes. Again, kind of indicative of the game, but we had, Equinox limped in with the aces, got just the minimum raise, calls just the minimum raise. It's all very edgy, and then all of a sudden, from betting 50s and 100s, it was like, well, £4,000 then. Yes. It's like, all right then. And
I might as well.
Exactly, and even though Chiss and Phipps did end up with a straight, Equinox had the bigger version. But I think now this is where we are going to come out of this period, and we're going to see casualties actually mean something.
Yes.
So now there is no second life.
In a way, I quite like rebuys, because it actually complicates the whole thing, because you get these different phases. Yeah. So therefore, you've now got to analyse people, and then you've got to check out, well, I wonder how he does change when it comes to the rebuy period. Yeah. Yeah. Will he change, or is he still this style, etc., etc. So altogether, it means there's a bit of variety in the style of play going on.
Yeah, yeah.
The other thing is, if you're going to a tournament, perhaps at your local casino, you don't want to travel there, and if you get knocked out, you go, oh, I've only been here 10 minutes, I've just driven 40 miles. So therefore, a rebuy is quite practical for that reason. It means at least you're going to be playing for the rebuy period of time, which might be an hour and a half, for example.
Yeah, no, that does make a big difference, doesn't it? Because I think that's the thing is we know there's a huge influx of internet players now, and at some point they all want to have a taste of live. And we always laugh about, you can't get knocked out and click on another game on the lobby. You've travelled all the way to Newcastle to play in the tournament, and you get knocked out in the first hand. Your aces get cracked by kings.
Yeah.
Hat, coat, car, and you're away again. It's
not a lot of fun.
That's not a lot of fun. So I think that's a very valid point when people are looking to move from the internet to live, is to try and get a bit of value, try and get a bit of time out of it.
Yeah.
Is the rebuys, if you're happy to play where you know that you're going to have to perhaps accept you've got to invest some more into it, you're going to get more game out of it.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying about thinking about the price of it is good as well. It's basically, you should say, well, what am I prepared to invest in this tournament? I mean, that's a good idea. Or what could I be investing? And so now you could think to yourself, well, okay, maybe it's 3 buy-ins and an add-on I'll have to perhaps put up with.
Yeah.
Which is probably a night where you've not been particularly lucky. I mean, it could get far worse than that, but I'm saying, but that's a night where you've had below average luck, I would think.
Yeah.
So therefore, that's 5 altogether. So if it's a $10 tournament or £10 tournament, that's £50 you've got to look at. So you've definitely got to multiply. And as I said, I would play in a tournament. If you are in a tournament with rebuys and add-ons, I would say if it's correct to have the add-on, you should have it. Yeah. Otherwise, you're not maximising your equity in that tournament.
Yeah, it's a bit like quite often with the live tournaments where they say it's going to be $65 to sit down, but for an extra $15 you get some more chips, and everyone automatically goes for it. But quite often you're getting offered quite a small amount of chips for that extra investment. And I know that people hate the idea of starting with less than the guy. You think, I haven't even had a hand yet, and that guy's already got some more chips than me. But proportionate to the blinds and that, I think it sometimes can, people just start feeding to get more chips when there's no real value in it at that stage, be it at the very beginning of the tournament or in that add-on period. But it's an interesting thought. Well, we'd like to know what you think. We're talking about the rebuy tournament that we're going to be watching all night long. We'll jump on and off that multi-table tournament for the next 4 hours and hopefully culminate with the end of the show on the final table. If you have any points to make, any questions to ask our expert James about rebuy tournaments, get in touch with us here. You can do that by texting us on 84222. Start your message with the word poker, please. And also email us, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And we will be very happy to receive you. Meantime, we are going to go back to that multi-table rebuy a bit later on, but right now we're going to jump down and go and take a look at a city. We're going to go look at a city. The city of Birmingham. No, my mistake. A single table tournament, sit and go for $20. And this is our long structure, so more chips, more play. Thickhead. What a great name, just jumps out at me. It's in capital letters just to make it easy for the blind people in the audience.
It's great here at the city, sit and go.
Yes, the city of Birmingham, as promised by myself for no apparent reason. I do apologise. I'm mental.
Is it your turn?
I've got A3, they're suited. Anyway, let's not make it into a comedy show.
Personally, on the tournaments, however, I do believe that a freeze-out is a purer form of poker, obviously.
Yes.
And if it's a major tournament, I like it to be a freeze-out.
I think also, I mean, I spend a lot of my involvement in poker is teaching people poker or speaking to people that aren't really deep into poker. They have an interest, they see the TV, they read about it, etc., etc. But a lot of people who come to the game, I think, are worried about the money aspect of it. It's like, it's hard. If you're beginning a new game that you're not really in touch with, you can't play on the play tables because they can be just mental.
Yeah.
But people are worried about the money, and I think what people don't understand, it's a bit like if we help people run home games or whatever it might be. You say, look, it's very simple. You all put £1 in, and you get 1,000 chips, and whoever's got the chips at the end takes home whatever's in the pot, and they think, I didn't realise that. And I think that's what people like about the simplicity of the freeze-out, is I mean, if I take, and actually we took Michelle down to a live game in Westminster, and it was like, the beauty of this is it's exactly what you're used to from the show. It's a 10 quid, you get your chips, that's all it's going to cost you, apart from your endless stream of gin and tonic. But that's I think why the freeze-outs are so popular, and I think it is a big progression, if not really in strategy than mentally for people to think, hang on a minute, there's actually no limit to how much I could walk out of here going, my God, I can't believe I only came down here with 50 quid and I've spent it all, you know. And I think that's why I kind of tend to focus on the money aspect, is because those are the people I generally deal with, and they're a little bit wary of that scenario where there isn't a cap on where they can actually put how much they reach for their wallets. 4-8, that's not too shabby. Shame it's all suited, because Cold Face would probably like that a bit more otherwise.
However, one has to put the warning on even the sit and goes, of course. That, you know, that's one sit and go, but presumably you'll be playing more than one sit and go, and the amount of buy-ins you should have to accommodate the possible fluctuations in your results is quite scary.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's something I was talking a bit earlier on with the lads behind the cameras about, is I've been doing a lot of writing about bankroll management, and the more you talk to people about how they play, what choices they make to play, what games versus their bankroll, it's almost more important as far as being a sustainable poker player, is really understanding how you control your finances against your bankroll, rather than reading Super System 20 times, is to really have a handle on what limits you should be playing at, dependent on your bankroll, if you want to actually play poker for a long run. Yeah.
And actually there's a guy written a very good book on that. It's a guy who's had a bit of success of late. He's a mathematician, and his name is Matt Matros.
Oh yes, Matt Matros. Why do I know that name?
And a lot of his book is to do with bankrolling.
Okay,
your
yeah.
game.
I think he's written another book.
Well, he's due to have a second book. I didn't think it had come out yet.
Okay, I certainly know that name. Maybe he writes for one of the magazines or something.
I think he writes in Card Player as well.
Okay, that's probably it then. Yeah. Okay, well that's interesting.
Because I was just talking about the other night, and I was sort of probably quite scaring people, because I believe that playing in a cash game, in a no-limit cash game, that you should have 40 times the maximum buy-in.
I watched that show and I did hear that scary comment.
Yes.
But then I sat down and worked out what it was, and I think that's the thing, is that actually you can't go wrong by erring on the side of caution.
No.
I was recounting, there was something with Jesus Ferguson talking about an experiment in bankroll management, where you're never allowed to sit down with more than 5% of your total bankroll, whatever your game you're sitting in. And as soon as what you built your chip stack up to represents 10% of your bankroll, you move out and you reevaluate and you sit down again where the limits are still not more than 5%. And he managed to turn a dollar into 20 grand in the space of a few months, purely as an exercise and an experiment, but by sticking to this rules. And he admitted he'd had to rebuy his $1 once.
Okay.
But just, you know, playing the 10 cents, 20 cents games until he'd built up enough that then actually he has the bankroll. That means 5% can allow him to sit down at the next level up.
All right.
And he worked through this, and it's as soon as you drop enough chips that you're no longer sitting in a game that represents that 5%, you've got to move down a level. And he goes forward and backwards.
So what was the 5%?
The amount you sit down with
Yes.
can be no more than 5% of your total bankroll.
All right. Okay.
And then when you've built that amount
And what
up,
did he want to sit down with? Did he want to sit down with the maximum buy-in, or
yes,
he
yes.
did?
So to sit down with the maximum buy-in can't be more than 5%.
Okay.
And when you've built your stack in front of you up to what now represents 10% of your overall bankroll, you take out, you look at your new bankroll and you establish where you are, and then you go back in again at the 5%. So you might have to keep hitting the same level for a while, but at some point suddenly 5% of your overall bankroll allows you to step up a level.
Yes.
Because that was one of the problems, is people are very keen to move as quickly as they can up the levels.
And so when did he step back down?
Once again, when he was no longer sitting in a game where his buy-in represented only 5%.
You go right back down
you
to
go
the next
back to that level. And you step up, you step down, you step
Yeah.
up, you step up, you step up. And he said you can't be afraid to actually take 3 steps down in level, but you've got to stick to these rules, because then you can last long enough to generate the action you need to handle the variance. And I thought it was very interesting. If only I had more time, I'd do it myself. But it just struck me as, again, you have to be so careful of not exhausting your bankroll before you get a chance to get a bit of a head of steam up in tackling the lifelong variance of poker. King's got blarted by a set of tens.
Oh, there it is.
Well, that's the one before where he had
And look at that.
kings full of sixes ruined by aces full of sixes.
Wow.
Yeehaw. Sometimes it happens. Welcome to poker. So we've lost our first casualty. Yeah. Snap it. Johnny Boy Ribble. A few regular faces here. Good evening, gents.
Well,
not too shabby for bullets there, is it? Not the worst turn you'll ever see. Shame about the diamonds.
But the show there's got, of course, a straight draw and a flush draw, and a pair. He doesn't know bullets has got 2 pair, of course.
And Coldface tried to get a bit of action going and ran into 2 people more than happy to play along and thought, well, actually, do you know what? Under the gun, I thought I'd have a prod, but...
Oh, well, show's put that down. Well done.
Well, I guess we're here at this early stage. The blinds are 10-20. Oh. That's, you know, with having this being the longer
structure.
Yeah, you get more chips to play with. I think that is one of the advantages of when you do move up the levels, you do get into those deeper structures. I think people that are used to just kicking through the $5 tourneys, they're kind of 40-minute jobs. Whereas when you do step up, you've got to make more of an investment, but you do actually get much more to play with.
Okay, let's see how Bullets plays his Nina's. He does just a call. Oh, how sweet it is. He's dreaming that Show has got something. Now, the problem here is you can see that he's checked there, obviously with his trips, to try and let Show improve. But the way Show would have improved would have been to make a straight.
Yeah.
Which, of course, would have beaten his trips. So sometimes when we are slow playing these monsters, it's not as bright as it looks.
I think, James, you might be referring to a hand you watched me play a bit earlier on when I got a bit greedy.
I forgot about that one.
I did make a note that I would talk to you about that at some point. I'm not proud of it, but I was just enjoying myself. Okay. And I on the turn I hit a straight, and rather than bet very aggressively, I just had a little tickle. The guy made a bet and I just doubled it and he called it. And as it happened, he'd actually been playing with 2 pair, and the river came along and gave him the full house.
Yeah. You're unlucky there. Obviously, he was 10-1 to make his house.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what I was thinking at the time.
Yes. But you don't know what he's got.
No, that's true.
Because he could have actually been sitting there with trips.
I do. You know, I must say, I used to enjoy slow playing, but I'm finding more and more often that I think the logic's right. When you've got a hand, play it like you've got it.
I think the thing with this, actually, it's a good little topic. And I think the thing with slow playing is, I think when the pot is getting big, I think it's less correct to slow play.
Yeah.
Because it's so good to take it down.
Yeah, that's true.
And it increases your tournament expectation so much by taking it down. If you're playing a money game, you can squeeze out all the advantages, because if it all goes wrong, you can just buy back in.
Yeah, true.
But in the tournament, you only have the one life, and I think to be too tricky sometimes isn't correct. And there's times there where we should say, right, I'm going to charge you a bit more. If you really want to be that stupid to play, good luck. But at least then, if you look in the long run, the times he fails, you'll have been rewarded better.
Yeah. Although in my defence,
yes,
because I like to defend myself,
you should do.
I think that he had probably started doing the same because the flop wasn't particularly scary, and he came out with 2 pair, and he kind of slow played it into me initially. Right. So with the minimum bet. So all I'm saying is, I think I found it harder. I would not have put him on 2 pair, because if I thought I was up against somebody drawing to the full house, well, I mean, how can you? But what I mean is, he wasn't betting like I would expect somebody with 2 pair at that stage.
Oh, so you thought he was very weak?
Well, I certainly didn't see him for 2 pair. I thought he might have top pair, to be really honest with you.
Okay.
But no, that's what I'm saying is, it's not like he had made a substantial bet that made me think, do you know what, I don't want this guy to improve, because the board was in a bit of a mess anyway. So the fact that he connected so well, I think he had something like Queen 2.
Queen 4.
Queen 4, okay. And then the 4 came down on the river, that's right.
Yeah.
So, anyway, no, it's not really a defence, it's just a comment that says, I think we were both playing so cagey that neither of us knew what the other person had, and then he ultimately, the cards played out for him. But I think had he been a bit more aggressive with the 2 pair, I might have been tempted to make it more expensive for him, but I think it made him look, well, brilliant, good news to him, it made him look weaker. So I wasn't tempted to make too big a move in case I scared him off. Right. But actually all I did was walked into his oily trap.
Well, yeah, you're just unlucky there, but the point is, we don't know what people have got when you're playing against them anyway, but the point is, with a lot of these slow playing scenarios, the opponent is not going to call a bet even if he hits his 1 pair or whatever. He's only going to be there if he's hit this middle pin straight, or he's hit his big hand. And that's the problem sometimes where we do our slow playing. We're slow playing in a situation where we're not going to get paid. We're in fact just giving them
the chance to improve, to beat you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
And we then end up paying quite a lot of money. So we're either going to win a peanut or lose a bundle.
Yeah.
Now, therefore, our risk-reward ratio is suddenly out of kilter.
Mm.
So that is the point. We know how satisfying it is to slow play. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, it's fun as well. It depends. I mean,
exactly.
I think
great
that's
fun.
It's the distinction between why you're playing. And I was playing the game there before the show starts. Blow off the cobwebs. I wasn't necessarily in it for the money. But yeah, I think it is, as you say, it's fun, isn't it, to surprise people with a big showdown and to have got a bit more money than you should have done. But
anyway, he did say it was a good game.
He did. Well, I didn't get knocked out there, James. I think you'll find I went on to do quite heroically until another hideous bad beat, which I'm sure I'll linger on at some point later on. Meantime, we're still only one man down. John Boy Rebel. Well, there's nothing about that flop you can be too happy about. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, amazing flop.
And we've got limping in, snap it with a pair of sixes.
I can't imagine that Bullets is going to... Oh, well, fair dues, okay.
King, Queen.
King, Queen. The death of many a man. Well, let's just take a minute to examine exactly how that's hit how many people.
Well, we've got top pair for Cold Face and Pot and Pan.
Yep.
With the very strong 4 kicker.
Exactly, it's a big kicker. Who likes the 4? And of course, Pot and Pan has the additional backdoor flush possibility. Probably wouldn't make too much difference to the
Bullets
percentages.
has bet 120 with his second pair.
And he's pushed Pot and Pan out, one of the aces.
Thickhead has called with his third pair. And Coldface has just called with his top pair. And one of the aces is gone.
And now Bullets has slowed down. Thickhead probably unlikely to bet, doesn't.
And Coldface can't feel perhaps so confident. And that's a scary card, because with 3 people there, you could well imagine someone was on a flush draw.
Yeah, exactly. The more opponents. Well, Bullets now has decided he didn't that slow. Wow, that's an interesting call. I can't believe Bullets was checking on the turn to set up a bluff on the river. I just don't think that's what was going on.
Coldface was worried about his kicker, but I think he decided just to check and call. That's why he called so quickly.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have crippled him really, would it, too?
No.
Take a look again, the beauty of having some more chips to play with early doors.
And middle pin straight draw for Thickhead. And been raised by Coldface just with the middle pair. Wow, that's pretty aggressive. And Thickhead's now hit his queen. Now Coldface tried this raise and then just suddenly checked on the turn. And now what he's done is he's let Thickhead draw. He'd shown strength by doing this re-raise and then decided not to use it. So, what do you think?
I think you're right.
Oh, you were reading an email, okay.
I do apologise. I had a man in my head talking to me, and it wasn't the normal one. This one was real. Sorry, James, I did abandon you there to have a little conversation. But I'm sure whatever you were saying was pertinent, correct, and quite simply brilliant. And I agree with it wholeheartedly, whatever it was.
Well, you're going to have to watch the recording then.
I will. That's the first thing I do as soon as I get home. It's 3 in the morning. What do? I watch 4 hours. It's a bit less than that because I fast forward through the adverts. But, it's the first thing I like to do.
Bullets. Well, we've got Battle of the Kickers with a 7 pair. Whoa! Both of them think you'll never believe I only had a 7. How much can I get paid? 240.
Going to be Queen 10
I've
versus
got a 7.
Queen
I'm gonna raise
7.
him.
Yeah, this could be the end of Bullets. No, you don't. Okay. I thought that was going to get a bit more feisty. And 2040, the blinds, he's still got 940, so nothing really to worry about.
No, still got a lot of play left, and that's a good point there. So he's had a bit of a disaster. He's halved his chip stack, but this is what I was saying. Forget about what's happened.
Look at where you are.
Just now say it's a new puzzle, and you say, bullets. You have 940 chips. There's 7 players left in a sit and go, and the blinds have just gone up to 40-80.
Yeah.
Each round's going to cost you 120, so you're still not in panic zone yet.
Yeah. And looking around the table, apart from Thickhead, your 940 is still a sizable, you know, amount of chips for anyone to get into a confrontation with you. Thickhead, you certainly don't want to go up against at all. But even if you're a show with 2,500, best part of 1,000, you know, it's going to be scary. There's a mark. Banning gets put into the bin there by Snappy. That's 7-8 off. Outrageous. Do you know what? I've tried playing 7-8, just out of courtesy. You know, I get it. And whereas I would just normally be already mouse moving into the check and fold button, I think, well, do you know what? Let's give it a go. I'll have a little raise or have a little limp. It's not working for me just yet, I must say.
All right.
I think maybe I've just been unlucky. I've not had it that many times, to be honest, but it's yet to really connect in any way whatsoever with anything.
Well, if you can write a lot of articles, maybe you can afford to try it a bit longer.
Well, exactly. If I can flog a grand's worth of features to my various newspapers on the beauty of Jack 8, not even that good, 7-8. See, right now, 7-8, all sorts of excitement. Sixes. Coldface takes himself up to just over 3 grand. Nay too shabby. Can Snap It not getting too many hands to play around with tonight. A few small pairs that he's trying to limp in with that haven't really developed.
Snap It's playing fine though. He's got more than his starting chips. He's had little tries with his small pairs, which are great hands. You know, good implied odds if you hit your trips in these sort of games. And I personally like the way he's playing at the moment. Up and down straight for bullets.
Pair of threes for Coldface. I wonder if they're going to be kind enough to let him limp in and get any value for it. Well, they've decided to take control.
Do the flat raise, 80 with 80, and he's captured position.
Exactly. It's always a nice thing to do. All of a sudden, for every preceding round, he has now got the best position there is, if anybody even wants to just get involved.
Might have been tempted. Snap It's on the big blind. Perhaps he knows he doesn't call too many. Bullets checks, now Coldface. He's got a heart in his hand, and that's a good thing. You think he's missed a bet.
Yeah.
I'd have liked it as well, because he's got 2 threes, and the heart isn't going to be one of them, which is great, because you've got to worry about giving someone the flush.
It's going to get checked down now.
And now he bets 80. How strange.
I mean, Bullets was ready to fold that. He was just waiting for somebody to give him an excuse to get out of it, really.
But what we've seen there, it doesn't... We can say, oh, well, he won the pot. This is irrelevant. What he did was, he gave Bullets a free draw at a king and a jack. He gave him 6 cards to shoot at, for free. Now, the very fact that Bullets didn't hit them is irrelevant, because we've now got to imagine we sit here and watch this encounter 100 times.
Yeah.
And for sure, when he gives that free draw there, Bullets are going to win some of these.
Yeah.
So that's what he did. Instead of having the opportunity where he could have won this every time, he now gave up that and gave the guy a free draw. And that's bad.
Yeah, like my straight with a full house. Might have only been $2, but you know, never going to let it go.
No, I think this play was far worse. You can't. He'd done a cute little raise, he'd captured position, which was nice, and then didn't use it.
Some real old raggedy hands come out that time round. Everyone already clicked in the check or fold button, and Coldface takes down the big blind, the small blind, and the world continues rotating.
And it's Big Slick under the gun. 80 with 80.
Nice.
Snap it, pair nines. Now we're interested to see how he plays. It's just calls. And Thickhead got the threes, but he decides not to get involved. Okay, so Pot and Pan can't be too keen on that flop. Is the show going to represent that he's got a hand? He does. I don't think Snap it will believe him. How right I was.
Smashing, spot on.
And I think Snap it actually puts him on what he's got.
I mean, but do you not find that's dangerous? I mean, I know that it's unlikely he would have made the pre-flop raise with anything, but to actually go all in, I find this a lot online. Is that there you are? You've got a pot. Somebody's bet 320. You push all of your chips in. To make the point that Snap It's trying to make, does it really need to be all of Snap It's chips? If he made it 1500 to a bet of 320, is that not doing the job?
But his bet is it looks different because it's just see how much money the guy's got left. He's overbet what the guy's got in front of him.
Right, so you think that's a psychological move? Well, I just find
no,
that
because if you see how much money he's got left, therefore if he raises the guy's made it 320. If he makes it, if he does 3 times his bet, makes it 960, well the guy would be pot committed anyway if he calls.
Yes, no, why?
So therefore Snap It might as well just go all in there.
Okay. I guess what I see a lot is I see a lot of people playing like this where, do you know what, the bet is about, someone's bet 150, someone makes it 300.
And people
the next
overbet.
guy you think, do you know what, if you threw 1500 at this guy, if you put 2000 at this guy, it's going to make the point that says die or go away. Whereas a lot of people will like push all of their chips in. And I know that in that case their chip stacks were against each other, that Snap It was sort of safe. But if a 1,000,000 to 1 chance that guy's got ace-5 suited and he's etc., etc. I've seen a lot of people lose a huge amount of chips just by trying to make a point, and if somebody pushes back at them, they put so much chips in to try and make that bully boy move that actually they've ended up pot committed. Okay,
but in this case, this was not the case. But I see what I think. I agree with you that does happen.
Yeah,
people do overplay.
You're absolutely right. In that instance, with the chip stacks, I think it's more a case of saying when people want to make a point. They seem that it's either all in or nothing. They don't appreciate you've got enough chips to make that move without going all in.
But here, I'm giving Snap It full credit. I actually think that Snap It put him on the sort of hand he's got, 2 overcards, and he said, right, I'm going to charge you the max. If you're going to beat me with that, you really are going to have had to sweat for it. And if you do try and beat me for it, I'm going to get well paid for it. And there's also a fair bit in the middle there now anyway, because the guy just put in the 320 continuation bet. And as I said, anything else he did, the guy has an awkward amount of chips left that he probably can't get rid of him. But your point online is true. People generally are a little bit too free and easy with that all-in button.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it's
they
lovely.
bet out of proportion.
Yeah, and it's lovely if you get me into a live situation. I was at some of the EPTs, and you get all these internet qualifiers, and it's superb because if you do hit a hand, they don't just make a big move and you make a big re-raise and then they move away. They're all in. And you think, well, you've no idea what I've hit on this flop. And if I've connected, I've now got all of your chips. I've not just got a sizable chunk or I've not made a move and you folded. It really is like all or nothing with them for some reason.
I'll tell you what, it's very important to know when you've crossed into a different area of the game for yourself. I'll give you a quote from the tournament that actually asked was a £50 one. I'd reached a situation where the blinds were very high and I was basically in an all-in mode. What we got here?
Sorry, I was just staring over there. That's
Trip Queens for show.
That's going to do it. Sorry,
he had more success against a pair of nines this time. I was in a situation where I had the all-in situation, basically the amount of chips I'd got in relation to the blinds. Then I'd won some of these and I'd noticed, oh, hang on, I've actually just sneaked over that level just.
Yeah.
So my next play, I suddenly thought, oh, that's good. I can now actually put in a raise, which more or less looks the same. But it's still a strong bet, and they're going to put it down if they haven't got too much. The guy in the blind suddenly comes over the top of me. I had something like, probably I think ace-10 or something, if I remember rightly, and I put it down, and he shows me a pair of kings. Whereas I was pleased because I'd actually realised that I was in a different area, rather than just lazily clicking the all-in button again.
Yes, yes.
I didn't. I actually said, oh no, I've got enough chips that I can do a different bet.
Yeah.
And how good it was. Because if that hadn't happened, that was my tournament life very likely to have been dead and buried. But instead, I was able to pass and still go on to get into second place. So it just shows you, these are the decisions we've got to make.
Well, this is interesting. Jacks, queens, ace, king suited.
Yes, and oh yes. Well, now what's Snap It going to do here? We've been seeing a bit more aggression from him, so are we going to see it now? What do you reckon, Matt? Is he going to... Yes, I felt it. Now, yes, your point is rather good here, isn't it?
Well, it's not over yet.
And the aces has overtaken both of them. And no one's got a heart.
Oh,
my goodness.
Welcome to your full house, Snap It. Cold face, gutted, no doubt.
Wow.
Thickhead very pleased that he didn't have any more chips because he would have been more than happy to get into that
Well,
pre-flop.
Cold face thinks it's a cold deck.
That's painful, isn't it? Let's have a look there. Where does that... Well, that's kind of... Snap It. Well, we pulled the comment out that said he hasn't really had much to play with, and that's... For 37 hands.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's in the early stages here, this is fine. I don't mind the raising percentages being low in the early stages, because this is when the blinds are small, you should be trying to either wait for a big hand or trying to trap, etc., etc., etc. So I don't mind these low raising percentages, but as the tournament progresses, in fact, we should really look at those percentages in segments, really.
Yeah, yeah.
It should actually alter because there's a different phase. There's certainly at least 3 phases in a sit and go.
Yes, yeah.
And every phase should have different style.
That's going to totally change the face of Snap It's game, having picked up that big pot there on the jacks.
Oh yeah, he's in great shape.
Well, we've got a couple of emails to go through just before we come up to our first break of the evening. The first one is really more of a shout out from the forum crew. This is from Golden Jaguar, one of our regulars. Dear Poker Night Live, very formal. Hi guys, can you do me a favour? On the forum, we have a cat versus dog thing going between the regulars. You really get involved in the forum, folks. It's good fun on there. Well, I want to ask you on air for Nash Anubis to please join the cats. I have no idea what I'm talking about, incidentally. If you do this tonight, he's promised to join the fight. There's something going on the forums. Get on the forums during the break coming up and tell me what this is all about. We also have another one from Geordie that says, Dear Matt and James, hi guys, just thought I'd let you know about my win earlier today. Thanks in part once again to James Browning's amazing advice. Managed to qualify for a final table in the Rounders tournaments. Love the Rounders tournaments. We're going to talk about them later on because I love those. And actually got the guys to play. Got the guts to play it earlier on. To cut a long story short, I had all the regular Poker Night Live guys cheering me on. That's it. Look at the community we've built here. So we had
camaraderie.
Circle, Golden Jag, who we just had an email in from, Likey, Buffy, Snap It. Sorry if he's missed anyone. He says he managed to finish 3rd, collecting his 2nd biggest win ever. $800.
Wow.
And that just off one $5 buy-in. I'm going to make a note. I want to talk about these rounders because they are fantastic stuff. Once again, to James, thanks for his advice on Monday night. And in total, he has made me just over $900 this week, all for nothing. Consider your check in the post, James. I've got a funny feeling that you might never actually see that check. I could be wrong, Geordie. Maybe you mean it sincerely. Meantime, just before we go to a break, an email from Snowblind. Hi guys, I've just won a seat to a live mobile tournament. Problem is it's in Oslo. I live in Newcastle, although I'm happy to win a seat because I've been going through a barren patch and it's nice to win something for a change. Oslo, bit of a distance from Newcastle there. He also passed kings and aces to pre-flop raises because he believed he had enough chips to survive in the multi-table tournament. Is that something you would ever advocate, passing a big hand to pre-flop raises with kings and aces?
If it's a satellite tournament, if it's where there's so many seats, it can be right, yes.
So just because you think that you don't need to get involved in this right now?
Yes, in fact, if you were like chip leader and there's so many seats. Is that what I presume he's talking about, a satellite tournament?
I think so. That's all the information we have.
It can be correct, yes.
But that's an interesting point. Don't enter these games where the prize is a trip somewhere if you can't actually go there. I know lots of people entering all these World Series of Poker satellites right now. They're going, oh, I came 3rd the other night. Even if I've won, I can't go. But it's nice to be involved. We're going to go to a break now, but please do stick around. We'll be back in a few minutes for much more action, and we'll be picking up that multi-table tournament too. See you in a bit. Hello there, welcome back to Poker Night Live. Matt and James with you tonight. We've got a multi-table, cash games, sit and goes. It's all here. Before we go back into the games, though, just to remind you that we are an interactive show. We welcome all of your comments, any questions, any points of view you'd like to put forward. Get in touch with us here, and here's how you do that. Text us on 84222. I'm still looking at the piece of paper. I so want to say the old text number. Must get that out of my head. Please start your message with the word poker and then whatever you'd like to say. And also include your name so we know who you are. Or you can email us. That hasn't changed. I should be all right here. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And please do get in touch. We're here till 2 in the morning. But right now, just before the break, we were enjoying a little $20 sit and go. And we are going to go straight back in there and see how Snappit is doing with the money he made with his jacks.
Yes, the jacks beating the queens and ace king. And the ace had hit the ace, but the jacks hit the jack on the river. And there's Snappit, still got all his chips there. Massive chip lead of 6,840. Very nice too.
Now, meanwhile, I'm going to abandon you. I'm sure you'll be delighted to hear that. As a coin has been flipped during the break. I've been nominated as Beat the Presenter player. If you'd like to come and whip me, quite literally, I'm going to leave you in the very capable hands of Mr. James Browning. I'll be chipping in now and then, but mostly you'll just hear me clacking around my keyboard.
Flop with 6, 7, 7, and Show's got 2 pairs. And I think he believes he's ahead, despite Pot and Pan's little move. And he, of course, was right, as we can see. Well, this big win by Snappit has put a lot of people under pressure here now. Blinds at 81.60. And the Bullets there hasn't got a lot of play, and I don't think he's got enough chips there to be able to afford to limp in there with that Queen Jack, actually. But they've all checked. Is he going to try something? No, he doesn't.
And there's not a lot of tables open, so if anyone would like to join me on the $5 table, I'm waiting to take your money now. Everyone started without me. And sadly, due to my previous success, in inverted commas, on the Beat the Presenter, there's not enough money in my account to play in the $50 game. Here they come. God bless you all. Good evening. I couldn't wait. As soon as they heard it was me playing, I thought, brilliant. Dead
Easy
money. Exactly.
No, you've been practicing before the show, though. They better watch out. Snap it there. Looks like he's going to collect another 240. He does. We'll soon be breaking the 7 grand barrier. Well, a motley array of cards until we get to John Boy, who's on the button with a pair of 9s. Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Oh! He's done 1,410. Well, we just have no doubt what's going to happen there. He's going to gain 240 chips. He's found another big hand now. Ace Queen. And we've seen the same move. Well, he's captured 480 chips in 2 plays. And sneaked into 3rd place. And Bullet makes a move. 480 with his ace deuce. Now Thickhead there. Oh, doesn't. Wow, what a perception by Thickhead. He's re-raised with ace 6. Bullet is very hard from the passes, actually. He's getting just about 3 to 1 his money. So even if he's dominated, he was getting odds. And he had an overcard if they had pairs, kings or down. I think that was a mistake, I'm afraid, Mr. Bullets. You had to call. We could see you were losing, but you weren't in such bad shape. Although you were not the favourite, there would have been quite a few split pots, obviously, with the 2 kickers A7 and A6. In a situation like that, A7 against A6, say both off suit, it will be a split pot, getting on for 28% of the time.
Really? As high as that?
Yes. The A7, however, will win 49% of the time. A6 winning 23%. But because of that, he survives that. The one with the lower kicker will survive that over half the time, well, 51% of the time. So therefore, there's not many situations where he's going to be favoured actually against hands like King Queen or whatever with his A6. Even if the guy's got King Queen suited, he'd have been favoured. Even where he's dominating against the ace, it's not quite as bad as it looks. Even if it's against the bigger one, well, you'll still have 27% chance to win. But it was a poor pass. Thickhead asking a very big question here. 1420. He's got the flush draw, and as it happens, he's actually winning. Blinds 163.20. Now what's Thickhead going to do here? Is he going to pressure his opponent? He does. He makes it 640. He's got his opponent covered in chips. Now that raise there is fine. That's a good size raise there because it's more or less indicating, listen, I'm not going to go away. Look how many chips I've got. But if he just suddenly didn't fancy the hole anymore, he has still got room to manoeuvre slightly. Well, a welcome sign for Pot and Pan. He's found Big Slick. He's going to click the all-in button quite correctly. And he gets called by Queen Jack, so that's quite nice, but it's not nice now because there's a queen on the flop. Ouch. But now there's a little escape route. Could a club come to save his life? No.
I enjoyed that. I had no idea what was going on, but it sounded like you were having a smashing time. And I do apologise a bit earlier on from Geordie, I think there was, that made comments towards James Murray Walker Browning. I avoided it because I didn't understand it, but now I see this new form of Stuart Hall-like enthusiasm you're pumping into the poker commentary.
As long as it's not Eddie Waring. Ah, you are raring to go.
That was very good, sadly. That's quite scary, to be frank.
He used to be on It's a Knockout with Stuart Hall, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. That was quite scary. Don't do that again, please. I beg of you.
Just a call from Show. And he's got it up and down straight. 8, 9, 10 Jack. But Thickhead is leading with his top pair of nines. Wow. This could be one of those bets that Matt was talking about.
Are they all getting a bit carried away with their
He
chips?
just bet 3,000.
Was there a pot of like 400 or something?
Yeah. That's what you were relating to, isn't it?
That was what I was suggesting. I just think, you know what, if you're trying to scare someone away, a couple of thousand into a 400 pot will do the job, not all 17 grand.
Now this is interesting. We've got just a call from show on the button with King Queen. John Boy didn't have so many chips as raised. He's decided he would have a crack at this. He's called. He's hit full house. Overkill.
We're seeing a lot of these tonight. These little boats keep drifting past.
Well, the boat drifted past, but there's another player sunk.
Nice.
And we're down to 3 players.
See, we'll be bringing pirates out in a minute. Gar! Keep the boat analogy rolling. Can't go wrong.
Snap it, passes.
Oh God! I didn't think we were actually going to do it.
Yeah, well, I couldn't resist it. Pair of queens, 1280, and rather good flop. Doesn't believe his opponent's got the ace, and aces and queens is a pretty strong hand. He's even got the queen of diamonds as a bit of a backup. Ken there is down to 3,280. He's actually gone to 3rd place. And the blinds now are astronomical. It's 640, 1280, and it really has become crapshoot. And Ken now has decided to push, and show's got to decide now with his king 6. We can see that Ken is behind him. And well done, Ken. You pressed the button at the right time. I'm just wondering if you fully capitalized your big chip stack earlier enough. That was good aggressive play there, and these blinds are horrific, aren't they? Really expensive. Ken's, oh, what a time to get a walk. Brilliant. And followed by a big hand. Snap It loves this one. Aqua. And it's with the all-in button. Thanks. And that's fine, because look how much you win.
He's in the money now. Those blinds have gone up quickly, haven't they?
Yeah, 640, 1280 now. You seem to be whizzing through this. Thick head, queen 10. We can see that the show is winning. Doesn't feel to him like he's winning, however. King 5 looks a little bit ugly for calling.
Thick head's got half his chips in the pot already. He fancies a race. It's going all right so far. He's hit his queen.
King 5 would have been actually 55% favourite against that queen 10. However ugly it looked. And what have we got there? We've got another one for Thickhead, who's stormed into the lead now. Broke the 10 grand barrier.
Well, going to need to be a few double throughs here for show.
And he got a walk. Snappet's got his eye on show there, and that was clever play by Snappet. He knows show's got to get involved this time, and he will climb up the ladder if Snow gets knocked out. There's a flush draw, he doesn't get it. Thickhead's got trip 7s, and we're down to the last 2. It's Thickhead against Snappet. Blinds are 640 to 1280. And Snappet wins that one. Here's Thickhead, ace, and they've both got ace-8, so his backdoor flush draw didn't come alive. Phew! Split pot, and the battle continues. Thickhead here is asked a question. Snap It now very low in chips. It's tough to put this down, I think. He's only got 2,640 left, but he does. And, well, he's hanging on in there. Thickhead with 8-2. Snap It. Come on, all in, mate. Oh, no. I think you let yourself get too low there. 10-5-7. Yep, it looks a little bit bleak unless No, it's not going to be there. And Thickhead with the ace-king takes it down. Well done, Snap It. Well done, Thickhead. You blasted away there.
Well done, Thickhead. It doesn't sound like the compliment I'm sure it is. Look at that, pipe cleaners everywhere. 47, definitely 47.
Where is Snap It there? Oh, he's got the black one. Let's find what... The black one's... Absolutely no respect for Snap It at all. The black one's disappeared into the ether. Okay, welcome back. I enjoyed that. I think that Ken, I think with that Queen 7 there, heads up, I don't think he had enough chips to pass. I think you might as well have taken your risk with that. The reason being is that Queen 7 is an average hand. I don't know whether you can really expect to be getting better than that the next time, and I don't think you can afford to let those chips go. There's a good chance you're going to have like a 40% chance with that hand, but you're going to have a 40% chance to suddenly double the amount of chips you've got, which will really put you right back in the tournament. I feel that you just let that one go. I think that was a mistake. But apart from that, everything was very good. An exciting sit and go. Anyway, let's see if we've got an email here. All right, we've got one from Crumble. Evening, guys. Enjoying the show. Jolly good. I have a question. Is Texas Hold'em ever played with a joker in the deck? Well, if Matt's there. Oh! Whoa! Boom! Sounds like it would be interesting whether you held the joker or it appeared on the board. As you can guess, my live game experience is limited. Thanks. Crumble, who is in fact Martin from West Sussex.
I thought it might be.
Well, Matt.
Yeah? What, a joker in the pack?
Yeah, do you want to multitask?
Yeah, why not? Well, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, you have as many variants of poker as you like.
Yeah.
I don't actually ever play poker with a wild card, but if you're playing a social game, you're playing a home game, chucking a couple of wild cards in there never hurts, does it? Play Chase the Queen or some crazy variant. I'm sure James can handle this question on his own. Some of us are busy looking awful.
Yeah, I'm not very keen with it on it. I think the game is perfect as it is. Actually, I suppose you could play it with the joke in the deck. But the thing is, the worst thing about having games where there's jokers is that card becomes so valuable that it would be terrible if that card got slightly marked or whatever, because it would be such a powerful bit of knowledge. So that would put me off it. I prefer it that sort of there's no sort of master card in a game. I think even the games like Kaluki, I think the game which is like a whist type game where you get 13 cards each, it's a good game, but I think that game is far better when it can be played with two jokers, but I think it's a better game when it's played without the jokers, and the skill is doesn't have the added fluctuation of these master cards. But you could give it a try in a home game just for a bit of fun, as Matt suggested.
Exactly. Well, there's enough poker variants, aren't there?
Let's get back to the tables. And we'll go to the green, I think. Yes, and we're down to... Remember, we had 92 players to start with. And we're now down to 22.
Good Lord.
And this is a rebuy tournament, of course.
First prize of $504, I understand.
Wowee, it's gone through the roof. $504 for a $10 tournament. And if you haven't done a rebuy and add-on, you're rubbing your hands together. Can't believe your luck. The total chips in play is 252,000.
You're working out the average chip stack, aren't you, James?
I'm just having a look. Yes, we are 11,000, just about 11,500 average chip stack. 5 King, Jack, Jack, Queen. Well, Abasak as a king and a jack. Life can't get much sweeter than that. Full house he's got. Jacks over kings. And Radiator has got not a lot. Blinds here are 200, 400. And we've got a big American Airlines for Apasak, fresh from his success with the house, looking for more fortunes with the main deal. Golden Jag. Is it John Prescott? We don't know.
Nice bit of you know, current affairs mingled in there. I think that was nicely done.
Andy, 6,000. The problem there is the blinds are 200, 400, and I think he's right there. He can't afford to limp in. His moves have to be more meaningful. It's better for him to put his chips in a bigger lump with a bigger punch. He can't be buying raffle tickets. He doesn't have enough funds. Quite tight. Not tight at all. He's playing with 4-5 offsuit, but he is in the cut-off position. And look at that. His name's enough. They're terrified. They pass. 600. 4-5, grossly overpaid, which will make Quite Tight smile. And the god of poker smiling on him as well. Rewards his bravery with a pair of queens. He's now re-raised the initial raiser 3 times. The initial raiser made it 1,200, 3 times the big blind, and he did it 3 times his raise.
Not sure about that call. Out of position, King 9.
I can't agree more, Matt. I think it's
thank you. I'm
crazy.
Going to drift back in. I seem to have said something right. I'll be off into the corner now.
And I think his bet after that was even worse. My goodness, why did he want to annihilate his situation? Did not like that at all. Andy got the King Kong in the small blind. How's he going to play it? This will be interesting. Is he going to try and win some chips with it? I think he should. He's put in a raise there. I would have actually been tempted with his chip situation just to make up the blind. I know he'd be taking risks. We might see him hit 4-2, but he needs to try and win some chips. And that was his best time to do it. And I think I would have just made up the small blind. You never know. Abasak might have tried to bluff him, or he might have played along, hit a pair. Who knows? But you don't get many big hands, and in that situation, when you're down to 5,000, you need to get chips. You had to take risks there. There's times when you have to analyse a situation and say, well, I don't like having to play it this way, but I've got to try and do something. So all the time we must be checking our situation, checking everyone else's situation. We should not be playing hands automatically one way. It's not right. There's a different play for different situations. We've also got to vary our plays to confuse our opponents. We can't be like an open book. They could be well taking notes on us. We have to muddle them up a bit. Well, this will muddle them up a bit. He's just raised on the button with King 3 suited. And Jaded has come over the top with Ace Deuce. And this is difficult for Abasak. I think he's got to pass. And he does. Well, that's fine. He tried something. Jaded came over the top. And Abasak was brave enough to put it down. Because sometimes you've got to be braver to pass. And he tries again. The blinds are 3-6. He's done double the blind. And oh no, he can't believe it. That Jaded's come over the top of him again. He says, you're getting on my nerves. I'm calling. The ping hits the king. There, that taught you. Don't think he can bully me every time.
Dear.
He then bet with nothing. He says, what a muppet. I've now got all your chips.
Muppet, is that that's a poker term, yeah?
It is. Oh yes, you of the innocent type who would never type anything funny in a chat box.
Moi?
Who? Me?
Good Lord, James, I'm quite taken aback by that suggestion. And you saw how polite I was to that man who cracked my...
Yes, I thought it was rather...
with something earlier on.
Yes, it was rather sort of posh bit of sarcasm.
No, I meant every one of my kind. Well done, sir. Well played, you muppet.
You missed out the You Muppet bit.
I forget what that hand was actually. That was quite funny, wasn't it? He called something hideous.
Oh no, I can tell you what it was. He called with no connection at all with Ace 8.
Ace 8. Yeah.
And he hit an ace on the river.
And I made it quite expensive for him, didn't I? And he still went, "You're all right, then."
Yeah.
I think it's because I'm partially famous, James. You know, I think everyone wants a piece of the action.
Well, I think there's a price on your head.
Yeah, you know, prestige, isn't it? and yes, I am joking.
2 pairs.
Oh.
Ugh. That was a real groan from Mr. Broughton there.
You'll see that one later, I'm sure.
And he will actually reproduce the groan to fit in with the play.
Oh, well, I can do that. I can do that at will.
And if it's after 2 o'clock, he will reproduce it in German.
Jawohl.
Little sneak there, I tricked him.
Is that or pirates? Take your pick. Let's have an email poll. What would you rather not hear? I've already been cajoled to do my Sean Connery, but in the present
I'd like
company,
to hear that.
No.
Oh, I do. I'd love to hear it. I like hearing Sean Connery. Pair of 10s, M. Scott. Get Matt to do his German bit. It's very funny. Andy, Ace King, and we've got a classic encounter here. Pair of 10s, Big Slick. And there's 8,000 in the middle there. Yes, he's there. But, oh, no waiting. But look at that. On the turn, it's trip 10s. Again, we've seen this. It's unbelievable. These flops. Ace first card out. Andy's up in his seat, cheering and whooping and hollering. On the turn, the 10. He's just kicked the cat.
Kicked the cat?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that's in real life.
Physically, in real life, he's kicked the cat.
Sorry, you lost me for a second there.
Yeah, poor cat came in. He was sort of like just going to do a little sort of in and out of his legs, let the tail rub against his legs, a bit of friendly.
I do worry about you sometimes, James. You know, lovely bloke, but quite clearly mental.
And then he kicks the cat. It's unbelievable.
Oh, that's not on, is it?
It's not on, no.
That's not a part of poker that we like to talk about. I'm sure it happens.
I'll tell you what, let's go and see some of the other characters taking part in this green machine. Ooh,
God,
we're waiting.
I
There we are.
Happened there. I heard a lot of whooshing going on in my ear.
There was loads of whooshing. It was fantastic. And we're here in the land of Crabbit Git, Nutman,
Your pardon?
Tea-Chai, and Loosey Goosey.
Can't say further than that.
And Tease. And Half Face. Well. Nutman. Queen King. Under the gun. Raises 3 times the big blind. But there's only 6 players. So he needs to do something, so I'm not actually against this aggression. And he's captured 900, which is very, very good for him. Which was more than 10% of his stack. And again, the poker gods are deciding to use a reward system tonight. If you do a good play, they reward you the next hand with a marvellous hand.
Is that the way it works?
Yeah. Have you had any good hands yet?
Actually, no.
Oh dear.
Do you know, actually, but it's not stopped me tonight.
No, but we can tell the poker gods only give you these after you've done it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Now, the
Oh,
poker
dear.
gods were so busy watching whatever the fantastic game is you've been seeing, they didn't bother stopping by mine.
All right.
They took all the good cards out, played your game with those, and just gave us all the 7, 4, 5, 6 off.
Crabbit Git makes it 2,400, 4 times the big blind. Pair of 9s. People like to chunk it up with these. Loosey Goosey. What will you do? Decides to pass with the King Queen. and I think can afford to. Didn't know it could have easily been an ace-king you're against, Lucy. Could have been a pair where you're underdog anyway. I think, and you're out of position, so I think a good pass. Crabbit. Picking up cards every hand at the moment. Ace-king this time. Tichai surrenders. Crabbit's got 22,000. Very rich. Half face, got 2-7. A hand similar to the type you find on Matt's game. Loosey Goosey on the button and does a flat raise to 1200 and Tichai over the top with Kojak. Well, it'll be all Loosey Goosey's chips. Lucy doesn't want to die on that one, but we can see that Tichai, with the poorer hand, won the money. One of the wonders of poker. More than one way to win.
I'm just chuckling, I'm just reading ahead some of the emails that were addressed, one of which has said, could you answer this email in the next half hour? I'm having a bath.
Oh, right.
It's nice to feel like you're involved in the lives of the viewers on Poker Night Live.
I think a little portable in the bathroom would solve all the problems.
Well, you know, you can watch us down the internet.
Yeah.
You know, take it with you. Portable. Take
Yeah.
us with you on holiday. There's really no excuse.
And it's going to get even better.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Oh, that sounds intriguing.
Yes, well, I think it's going to be the sort of the more, is it, what's the technical side of it?
I have no idea what you're talking about. So
Yeah,
I
on
can't
the internet there.
Yeah.
It's going to be the old singing, dancing, more powerful version of Poker Night Live in the near future, hopefully.
Well, there you are, folks. You heard it. Well, I heard it here first. I've no idea when you heard it.
That broadband version.
Yes. It's witchcraft, I tell you.
See the preview. It looks amazing. Cowboys, they look amazing. Oh, but they don't look amazing. Half faces got the aces. Scary stuff. 1800. Loosey Goosey, not many chips left, and I'll tell you what, might even decide to just, no he doesn't, but he's not many chips left there at all. I thought he might have just decided to get in a big pot. Well, this is going to be a big pot, and it's aces over kings. Only a king will save him. It's not there. Tichai down to 2,500. What a nice find for half face. Well, I think this will be our last hand for the moment. Let's see if we get any action. Not a lot out there, but half face, fresh from his success, might actually try and steal the blind. But if he looks there, you'll see that Loosey Goosey has only got 1850 left. So, okay, he's decided he's going to put Loosey Goosey more or less in. He's bet the amount he's got. He thinks he's going to end up against Loosey Goosey. He's got ace-8 against a random hand, but Lucy puts it down. Well, interesting stuff.
Well, that's some good juicy stuff. You enjoyed that, didn't you?
Yes.
Look at the fire in his eyes, like a child with a toy.
I've woken up.
Exactly. I knew it would happen. Enough drugs and it does anybody. We've got some emails that we're going to quickly run to, and then we're going to pick up, I believe, some cash action before we come up to our middle break. And after that, we will be picking up the Beat the Presenter.
Ah.
So, first up, Snowblind. Thanks again for getting in touch. She was talking to us earlier on about having won a trip to Oslo.
Yes.
And I was saying, oh, you know, Newcastle, Oslo, isn't it though? And he was saying, hi guys, didn't say I wasn't going to go. One of the guys at the table I was playing on offered me a place to stay in Oslo.
Ah.
Very nice of him. What a lovely community thing. He's going in August time. James was right, it was a satellite multi-table tournament.
Yes.
That's why I chose to pass made hands, which is something I am going to come back to and ask James about, because it's an interesting point. He spoke about throwing away aces and kings to pre-flop raises, because he didn't think he needed to get involved. It's an FHM thing going on, where all the dealers are FHM women that have been trained.
Whoa.
Oh, that sounds pretty horrible, doesn't it?
They've been trained?
Not really my sort of thing. They've been trained. I don't know what they've been trained to do, but it still sounds good to me.
Trained to kill.
Any idea how to focus on the cards and not them?
Not possible.
No, I think you're probably buggered. Okay. Now then, this is going to be... Looks to camera. This is from Bullet, otherwise known as Richard. I think Bullets is better. Hi guys, thank you for all your great advice. That'll probably be you then, James. I made a play with ace-2 and was re-raised, so I folded. Next hand I get king-queen offsuit with 520 chips. Did I make a bad play going all in? And was probably on tilt. King-queen, 520 going all in? Do you remember this hand?
Not specifically, but the thing is, the amount of chips you got there makes it different, and yes, it's fine. You haven't got much time left now. You want to actually... Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You can just push in with that one.
Yeah, I would agree.
But just a matter of, it would help us with that question to be exactly right, would be to tell us exactly what the blinds were at that stage.
Yeah, I was...
I mean, if the blinds were still 10-20 or something, then it wouldn't be right, because you'd still play normal poker. But if the blinds had got up to a reasonable level there, i.e. if we divide your stack by the blinds and you've got 3 rounds of play left, yes, fine, just whack it in.
No, I'm the same. King, queen, don't like it, but time and a place.
Yeah.
Now, this is one of those tough ones where you might want to take notes. And this comes to us from James, otherwise known as Oblivious. Okay. To all you fantastic and worthy poker player presenters, that'll be you again. The problem I've found with my game is the lack of ability to fold a good hand pre-flop and turn when I know chances are that I'm beaten anyways. Exclamation mark. However, I would like to draw your attention to a hand I played the other night on a free roll. Spelt wrong, not going to pick up on that. I was very proud of. Please forgive me for not remembering all the details. Here comes the bit you need to concentrate on. Eyes down for a full house. I was dealt 8-10 offsuit. That's 8-10 offsuit.
Okay.
And the flop came down 3-10 jack rainbow. Realising I hit middle pair, good. I bet 3/4 of the pot to find out what's... Sorry, I'm in a really sarcastic mood tonight. It'll pass after about 6 hours. 2 people called. So, sorry, he bet 3/4 of the pot. 2 people called, one of which had previously checked to him, but now he's got 3 people in, including himself. Turn came queen. I checked, as did everybody else, which I assume was because no one had hit it. The river came as a 10, so I've hit my set for trips. I made a pot-sized bet, which was quickly followed an all-in. Before you read on, can you say whether you would have called the all-in or folded? There is information missing here about the size of the pot and how much you have, etc., etc. But in light of that flop and you've hit the set, what are you thinking?
Right, we'll just have a recap, I think, and we can sort of think through it together. So he's there sitting with his 8-10. There was no raising before the flop. Was it, Matt? That was a bit...
he was the one that raised.
Oh, he did raise before the flop?
He bet... Oh, sorry, no, I do apologise. Where are we? No, he's not told us. He's actually started his story. I was dealt 8-10 and the flop came down 3-10 jack.
Okay, so there was no raising before the flop.
I would imagine not, because it's not mentioned.
Okay, so 8-10, he's hit the middle pair. There's a check before him, I believe. He bets 3/4 of the pot. Well, that's fair enough. You've only got one person after you. The check in front of you, because it's an unraised pot, it's unlikely that he's connected there. If he has connected, he hasn't connected too strongly. So, okay, you've put in the bet 3/4. I quite like that. But you got two callers. On the turn came the queen. Well, you're not mad keen on the queen because it's another overcard to your 10. However, it does give you 4 more outs, which is a 9, although it is the idiot end of the straight, as we say. But it does give you 4 9s as well as 2 10s and as well as 3 8s. But of course your 8s go down in value because if someone has a 9, of course it gives them a straight. But you've decided now to check. Your question you've got to ask yourself there is, would you actually call if someone put in a certain size bet? If you would, in that case, I think you probably could have well followed up with another bet there, because this card isn't the end of the world for you. As I said, it does give you a few more outs as it happens. So I think you could have actually followed up with another bet. But I don't know your chip stack size, so that makes it difficult for me, because if you haven't got enough chips to be playing like that, well, that's a different thing. On the river comes a 10. Well, happy days, but your problem is, was someone sitting there with 8 9 and they had an up and down straight, and then they checked the nuts to you, or maybe they're the one in the first position who checked it. So you bet,
but pot-sized bet, and then the guy went all in.
right? You could have actually, what I'd have said there was, perhaps you could have bet less than the pot, because you don't, if they haven't got who's going to call you? So basically, if they haven't got much, if you want someone with with just a smaller pair than the 10s or whatever to maybe call you. But what's going to call you here? Surely it's someone who's actually hit a queen, oh no, hang on, beg your pardon. Sorry, hang on. You've hit your 10, beg your pardon, sorry. Beg your pardon, sorry. No, they hadn't liked it beforehand.
Sorry, I thought we'd lost him there.
Yeah, sorry.
The pulse in his neck just stopped.
I'm just trying to look. Yes. It's a tough one. I don't know your stack size. It depends how many chips you've got. Sorry, beg your pardon. You've asked a question there. He's come over the top of you. To me now, I'm worried that he actually has made the straight because I'm thinking he's just slow played that. I was looking at the queen as the last card rather than the 10.
Has this vexed you, James?
It has. No, I'm just trying to work it out.
Well,
I need to know how many chips you've got on my decision on that one. Anyway, carry on with it.
Oh, before we carry on with it, just in case we've lost any viewers during that slight moment, we're going to zoom down to a cash game while we continue this email. It's a 25-cent, 50-cent game. Well, the point that our friend James makes, so the guy's gone all in, he's asking if you would have called. Personally,
I said we don't know how many chips they've got.
We don't know, but it's an all-in. We do need to know a bit more, it would help us. But to be honest, I think right now, if I'm with 8-10 and the 10 comes down, I think I agree with you totally, James, that the queen wouldn't have slowed me down. I would have kept betting.
Yes, that's a bit. Then you know better where you were then, because you'd have found out there and then.
Yeah.
I'd have put the smaller bet in when the queen comes. Yeah. If the guy's already made his straight, he might actually get rid of me then.
Exactly, because the situation then comes where the 10 comes down the river. So you've now got 3 of a kind 10s with actually, and also now your kicker becomes irrelevant because you've now got 3 of a kind 10s with the queen jack kickers.
Yeah.
As it goes,
someone else could have the hands have got ahead of you. They could have 10. They could actually have 10 jack, 10 queen, 10 king, 10 ace.
So
straight.
He tells us that he actually thought about it for about 5 seconds, which is quite a long while in online poker.
Yeah.
I folded under the assumption that the all-in had hit the 10 with probably an ace kicker. I don't really understand where you come to that assumption. However, he tells us gratefully the opposition showed their cards and it was ace 10. The thing I don't truly understand is your opponent's actions. You know, the story that we've been told, why you come to the assumption that he's hit the 10. I would find that very hard to see him with ace 10 regarding his actions.
Right, well, the thing is here, you can't pinpoint the hand, but the way I eventually got round to it was, because I hadn't looked at the email, which I can promise you, is that I now do think the guy has got a hand. And I said, I think he's either could have the straight, or he's got the list of 10s I said, the 10 jack, the 10 queen, the 10 king, the 10 ace. So there's a lot of hands out there which can beat you.
Yeah.
So there is a problem there, and I think that was a good pass by in the end, because I don't think anyone's going to suddenly just... I think it's tough for them to suddenly come out from such a quiet pot from them and actions, for them to suddenly do something different.
Absolutely.
So I think you definitely know that they're suddenly happy now. They know where they are.
Well, it's a Nick Wilthallism. It's like you keep meeting resistance. So throughout the whole story, the one thing that is constant is that you're making a move, you're getting called.
Yeah.
You make a bigger move, you get called. You make a check, and then you make a move, and it goes all in. So, as you rightly say, is that you're not unbeatable with that hand. And this guy is suddenly happy about something. So it's a tricky one to fold down.
But this is quite nice, because you look back in the storyline now and we can say, yes, well, if he did have the 10, in fact, I will side with him slightly there, that the 10 becomes more likely than the straight.
Yes.
Because when we look through the storyline, we say, well, hang on, he didn't try anything when he made his straight. But that's possible that he was going to just be slow playing it. But he might have been, most people are tempted to try and suck something out of you on the turn with it. However, all of a sudden a card has come which has made him feel that he knows where he is. And, of course, that would be a 10 with either housing up or with the master kicker.
Yeah, because even though we're saying that maybe checking on the turn doesn't help you, to a certain degree, a guy with ace 10 is going to keep calling anyway, because he's still got a sexy hand, and in fact it can improve to be the nuts straight.
Yes, but by betting actually on the turn... And I'm not advocating putting all your chips in. I say perhaps betting only a proportion of the pot. You now know that this guy is keen because you've bet on the flop, you've bet on the turn, he's still there, and now you probably realise he hasn't got the straight, because he would almost certainly come over the top of you there.
Yeah.
And now when he's still there on the river, you don't now bet yourself, you now check, and now you allow him to charge you the money, and now you don't have that horrible decision.
True.
So therefore you could check and call on the river, and now either you're going to pay him off a small amount, which was probably no more than you bet into him, might have even been less, or you leave the door open for him to bluff at you, and you capture the bluff, which would have been a far better play in the end. So in fact, by doing it the way, by betting on the turn and checking on the river, would have actually been a better play.
And as I say,
so eventually got there.
The other key thing we don't know is obviously by folding, a bit like a kind of a situation you described earlier on, is you're looking at. No, actually, it wasn't you that described this earlier on. It was somebody else I spoke to. I do tell a lie. Is we also don't know what situation does folding leave you in. If folding leaves you with 200 chips left,
right?
If making that fold leaves you with best part of nothing anyway, then you might be stuck in there. But of course, that's what we don't know, is what chip stack he had, and by the end of it, how much he was giving up.
In these, it's always important to know what the stack sizes are, because obviously you might be in a no-brainer situation where you just can't afford to pass, whatever you think, because you're getting too big odds.
And you know what, James? I've made a dreadful mistake.
Yes.
He said, if you do reply, could you do it in half an hour, as in not within the next half hour? Can I do it in half an hour's time? So this is James, otherwise known as Oblivious. If you've just got out of the bath and you've just heard us mention it, you missed a good 20 minutes of James there working through your question.
So you have to watch it.
But it's always the small
tomorrow.
details. It's always the small details, isn't it? I thought you wanted it within the next half hour because you need to go and have a bath. Actually, you've been in the bath during the whole of that. God help us. But it's repeated tomorrow.
Well, let's hope you clean up.
Hey! And also, by the way, he says, thank you for reading this out. It's nice to be recognised, even if for being a bad player, by such geniuses as yourself. Again, I think that's probably you, James. But no, hey, I'm going to keep saying this. We want your emails. We love getting the contact from you guys. Doesn't matter what level of play, we want to hear from you. So please do get in touch. We will be reminding you throughout the night how you do that.
Anyway,
join in the hullabaloo.
Watch Poker Night Live tomorrow afternoon and see the answer to your email. Right, there's a cash game going on there through this marathon.
Yeah, I'm afraid we didn't focus too much on that, and we're not going to have too much longer, but we'll pick this up now.
Gaza Louis, let's see what you're going to do, mate. Put it a raise. You're in the cutoff. Yes, 4 times the big blind. Baskerville.
Well, considering you only sit down with a maximum of 50, he's not had a bad night, has he?
Baskerville. No, he's got 106.
I'm really intrigued by this FHM tournament with the FHM girls.
With the specially trained.
Purely as a journalist.
Of course, yes.
I'd like to know what's going on out there in Pokerville. 7-8. I'm going to teach you a lot about 7-8 when we come back to Be the Presenter, James.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no. Oh, well, there you go.
Pigeon head.
Middle pin straight draw gave him the power. Whoa, everyone passes. Bing,
Snap
bing,
It
bing.
game. No, Snap It plays every single game. Every game we come to, be it a $2 buy-in, $10 multi-table, charity, cash game, there he is.
And jolly good too.
Yeah, enjoying poker in his pants and socks. Possibly.
Enjoying it with his pair of aces. $6.50, take that.
Nines could is that a position even? I don't know. It's a cash game. Who knows?
What you've got to be asking here is what happens next.
Yeah.
What do I do next? And most flops you will not like. So now, has Snap It got a king? So he doesn't know. So he's already under pressure. So let's see what happens. Snap It bets $7.50. He's bet a third of the pot, and that's a nice bet by Snap It because he's really wanting him to put money in here. So he's being the bookmaker, giving him the wrong odds to hit his card. And they are quick passes. So in the end, when he called his raise, he was playing it like a drawing hand in a way.
Indeed he was. Well, there you are, a little tiny whiff of cash action there. We're going to go to a break now. When we come back, you will see myself in the Beat the Presenter, and we'll also catch up with that multi-table tournament, and of course more emails. So, see you in just a short while. Hello there, willkommen. Welcome back to Poker Night Live. It's Matt and James with you tonight. We've had rather a good couple of hours. We're at the halfway mark and there's still a couple of brilliant hours to come. We've got the multi-table tournament finale. We've got my Beat the Presenter in just a moment. And also some more cash action to come. Don't forget, we also want your emails. We want your texts. We want you. Get in touch with us. Any questions you have, you can text us. Text us 84222, 84222. Start your message with the word poker, please, and also include your name so we know who you are. You can also email us poker@pokernightlive.co.uk.
Text us about Texas.
Text us about the Texas Hold'em. Whatever you want to talk about. Anything you'd like to hear James talk about for hours. Anything you'd like me to just kind of hand over to James to talk about for hours. Keep them coming. But right now, very exciting time. I'm sure you're all thrilled and wondering
the
how...
tension mounts.
I know. I've had a 7th, 5th and 4th. I wonder if I can improve on that today. Let's go and have a look at me in the Beat the Presenter slot right now.
Ding, ding.
Let's get jiggy with it.
And here we go.
There I am.
Where? I can't see you. Yes, at the bottom.
I am in Broughton.
In Broughton. Very official.
And this was simply because all the other tables were busy. This is a rinky-dinky. This is a nice little $5. Yes, it is $5. Sit and go. 1,000 chips.
So you went for the short structure?
Well, I didn't actually want to be honest, but the only other ones that were coming around available were the $50 ones. And sadly, because of my previous 7th, 5th and 4th, I didn't have enough money in the account to go for those. So, and all the other games had only just started. They were in round 1, so I thought, well, we'll be here all night. So, and it was quite funny because all of our regulars that do like to play and beat me up were clearly hovering. And I sat down at an empty $5 table and they descended like a whatever locusts are, plague, swarm.
Vultures from
gaggle,
the mountain.
A flange of locusts. And it's quite an interesting game for me because as you will see to my right, John Boy Rebel was being uber aggressive.
As he normally is.
So it kind of affected the way I had to play.
Yeah, and also tell us what else you were doing.
What else was I doing? I don't know, what else was I doing? Oh, well, I was...
yeah. You were...
Well, actually, I tried... This is very interesting, and I'd be interested to see
That's why I brought it up.
If anyone thinks like this. I realised that I never, ever play one game at a time. I don't multi-table billions, but it is very rare that I'm not in a tournament while I'm playing a cash game, or I'm in a multi-table while I'm playing in a sit and go. And I realised that whenever I come out the studio after one of these Beat the Presenters games, can't believe I did so badly. And I get home and I log in and I play some sit and goes and I'm shouting to the wife, came first, came second, and she's like, I know, yes, I don't worry, I know you can play poker. Why do you play so badly when you do it on the telly? And I realised it's probably because I need to just simulate what I normally do, which is multi-table. So at the same time I was playing in this, I just opened up another little game in the background and played along in that. But I don't know, we shall see whether it actually improved my game or whether it didn't make any difference or what. But I'd be interested to know, if you're somebody that generally multi-tables, do you then find it hard to focus on just one game? Because I know it's one of the problems that internet players find when they come to play live. All of a sudden it's one game, everything's really slow, and they don't know how to cope with it. 2s, I thought, I limp in. My standard fare, limp in. If you hit it, brilliant. If you don't, and anyone wants to bet,
well, I'd go along with that. I think that's fine.
Especially in this stage, cheap. I was in an early position, but
Yep.
it's cheap as. What the hell?
Good thinking.
I hit my 2, probably going to get some value out of it.
Yep. I go along with that. John Boy there, like to raise you. Yes, he does. 3 times the big blind, and
That'll do for me, Tommy.
this could be John Boy's favourite corner, I think.
Yeah, he had some fun.
He's got Matt on the small and Snap It on the big.
Yeah, that's normally Hoofy's place. I don't know if... Didn't see Hoofy anywhere
Nash
tonight.
there, King Queen, has raised it 4 times the big blind.
They sure are pretty.
Not too much out there.
I'd be interested to see if John Boy just had a string of reasonable hands or high cards, because he was trying to be table captain, as we would say. Gar.
Well, look at that. A7.
So my attention was on him and Anfield James. Anfield James in the very first hand, I think I'd sort of limped in and deliberately typed into the chat box, you guys are going to let me limp in all night, because that was one of the criticisms before when I just had such rank hands. I was just trying to get in cheap and hit something because I couldn't handle playing such awful cards. And he was raising. But actually Anfield James soon became second in my list of priorities as John Boy just started kicking everything. But with a single table, you don't have a lot of time, but you do have a bit of time to address your player's playing style.
A move from Duke here, he raised from the small blind, but and he's followed it up. It's a continuation bet, but he's going to get a different sort of continuation here, I think. Ooh, not the card wanted for Jimmy Boy there. He's got 2 pairs on the flop, which is beautiful, but probably dislikes the spade. But I think he should actually put some money in here. He can't give his opponent possibly a free draw to a flush. He bets 140 into a pot of 320. So just under half the pot size. He found out exactly where he was. He knew he was in a great shape with the 2 pair on the flop. Slight worry on the turn. Decided to bet and either find out where he was or take it down.
And I'm looking at this thinking 5 people attacked behind me. And then Johnny Boy just makes it very easy.
And I think you're quite correct to dump that. Snap it there, called the raise with his pair of 7s. He's got position. And but there's 2 overcards in the flop. And John Boy there, interesting. The guy who always wants to be betting, when he connects in any way, wants to check. He'll like that, of course. He won't check again. He's now got a flush draw and a pair. He's definitely going to bet. He's made it 160. And snap it over the top. My goodness, this is a new snapper tonight. He's firing from the hip.
Well, we saw that. He generated a conversation we had where he was in seat 2 and the guy in seat 8 made a move and Snap It went right over the top of him. And you said, I just don't think he believed him. And in that instant, Snap It was right. But that move, very hard to fathom. 2 overcards.
Yeah, it's...
and that kind of is my point that says, well, that's it, you're all in. You get this wrong, you're out.
Yeah.
And for the point of what you're trying to achieve, in my mind, maybe I'm wrong, Snap It, do let me know, because I know there was a lot of chat going on which I was trying to ignore, because that's another one of my failings in previous Beat the Presenters, is I spend 80% of my time chatting and not much paying attention.
Yeah, because you've got about 7 people talking to
exactly. So I wasn't being rude. I do apologise to the people that were trying to strike up a conversation, but I realised that's another thing that I was doing rather too much of. But I just don't, if he wants to say I don't believe you, then I don't think it takes as big a raise to find out, and going all in, if you're wrong, you're dead.
I think Snap It's now got to go back to what I said a long time ago, which is, if in the early stages of the tournament, when the blinds are small, can you actually phone up your poker buddy and say to him, well, I just got knocked out of the tournament, 8th place. Oh yes, how did it happen? Well, I had a pair of 7s.
What was on the board?
Well,
9,
2
10,
overcards.
2 hearts, yeah.
Well, this is keyhole surgery. You know, why do you have to risk your tournament life there? A little bit impetuous, I think.
Maybe so. But Snap It, come on, we want to know. Please do let us know, what was the thought process? Was it an accident? Did you just take a misread? Because it's...
I think I know what he will say is that John Boy does make a lot of moves, and he felt this was yet again another time when he was making a move. But John Boy, which is often the case with someone who is an aggressive pre-flop player, they often tend to play a little bit tricky if they connect.
Big hand here for me, personally, 6-3.
You were on the big blind, however, before we start casting any insults.
Minimum bet. Trying to look sneaky, to be honest. Trying to make it look like...
Are you happy with that bet?
I am. He called it.
You're happy with the bet?
I'm happy with the bet.
Okay.
I'm going to do it again, I think, if I'm going to double it. No, okay, I'm going to make it 120. Just
well, that's a real
trying
bet.
to look dodgy. It was not really designed to do anything other than look a bit suspicious.
Okay, that's all right. Then now, when you did the follow-up bet with it, I liked it.
Yeah. Well, I can't then check just because I've not hit.
No, I liked the follow-up bet with it. So now it looked like it actually sort of connected, and now you were happier still, and now you just bet. So the whole storyline was fine.
I had a plan, James.
You had a plan?
And also the fact that John Boy has been so aggressive, as it was just me and him, I think he's already started to get the feeling that people actually aren't going to stand for him.
Right, let's see what you do here. You've got a straight draw and a flush draw. You've done this little baby betting.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Well,
and it's worked.
But that kind of is me doing what I was talking about, where I find that people do overkill to ask a question or to prove the point. Generally, in the single table singles, because especially, I probably can't do this in a 2,000 chip game, but in these short games, you don't need to go all in to harass the player. Is that you make a small bet or a double the big blind, or it kind of seems to have the effect for me, in my experience, quite often.
Yeah, it's even 80 is quite a percentage of the starting stack.
Yeah, exactly. So and that way, if I get it wrong and I get away from it, because but I think generally, if you find out that you're right, you're right. If you meet too much resistance and you get away from it, you're still kind of paying a small price to learn a bit about the way your opponent functions.
If they allow you to do it,
exactly,
it's fine. But if they start to realise that small bets really is a sign of small hands, well then of course you get blown out the water.
But the good news with this is that obviously that move I made with John Boy, no one got to see the hands. I'm never showing anybody any hands. That one with Jimmy Boy, no one gets to see my hands. So
the bad news is they've just all seen them.
Well, that's fine. I'm just never going to play again. Look, here it goes. It's the banning. I look down, a small smell spreads across my face.
Oh no.
120. Actually, do you know what? I do. I've got position. I can hear by that groan of despair. I've hit the small part and I've got myself a draw.
You dream flop. Absolutely dream flop. Up and down straight with a...
John Boy, I can't remember what he does. Probably going to bet because that's the way he is. No, he doesn't. Oh, I think then I will. 300 in the pot. 120. Half the pot-ish. He raises.
Right.
I call it. Still don't think he's got any part of this. Don't like it so much, but still don't like it. He now checks into me, so I go all in.
You've both got up and down straights.
And I think he thinks about it for a while. He calls it. I don't remember him calling it, to be honest.
Wow.
But I certainly... do you know what?
Well, maybe he only called it on the replay.
No, maybe no. Well, put it this way, I think the truth is I remember there was no more action, but of course that's because I'm all in.
Right.
But for such a fragile hand, I actually felt very confident about that.
Mark will be proud of you.
Well, I had to make 178 work for me once in my life. But that was just, again, I think you see it quite often. John Boy's on my right, making lots of moves, getting involved in lots of stuff. He ends up being like Gus Hansen, and you end up just not believing him.
Yes.
Safe in the knowledge that he will keep betting, and you can't take that as a sign that he's got anything. It's just that he's going to keep betting at it.
But the good thing about that is, if you do connect with some funny sort of hand, which looks innocent flop, you know there's a very good chance you'll get paid from him.
Yep.
So there is a plus point of perhaps playing some stranger hands.
So, I mean, I'm pleased. I take my hat off to Banning because I wouldn't be with 2,300 if I hadn't played his hand. And that's the only reason I play his hand, for a laugh, really.
Yeah, you called a
chunky
raise with 7-8 off suit at the end of the day. So
the other thing is I'd been reasonably tight, actually. Apart from the hands I got involved in, that's probably quite a small percentage of what we've seen roll past. So I sometimes find that if I've been very, very tight when I do get involved, just calling kind of raises alarm bells as much as making a raise.
Yeah,
but of course that's a matter of timing that you can't always rely on.
Anyway, you put down the King 8 quite easily.
Yeah.
Oh, and John Boy hasn't raised. What's going on?
Well, he's running low on chips. I think it's it's quite ironic that he's got the same hand.
Matt makes up for the blind with 4-7.
Well, Anfield James had really slowed down, but fair dues to him.
You can't call this.
It's exactly what I did to him in the first hand. I tried to limp with rubbish just in case, and he makes a bet, and I go, fine. We're at 40-80, and I've now got enough chips to afford.
If that's happened twice, I hope if the situation comes around again and you've got a decent hand, that you'll just make up the small blind again.
Safe in the knowledge that he'll raise.
That is important.
I'd love to pretend I can remember, but I can't.
Right, but if it comes around, that is what one should be looking for. And sometimes, certainly in a long-haul tournament, I will play a little game with the big blind just to find out how he does react, because I want to find out if he'll let me come into the blinds or not. And if he's uber aggressive, as we like to say, then I will still make up the small blind and just pass to him a few times.
Yeah.
just building up the storyline
yeah.
for a nice little trap along the way.
Yeah, no, I do have, there's a good friend of mine that I play lots of little home games with, and when we draw the seats, if he gets to my immediate left, I know that that's exactly what it does. If ever I try and limp in a cheeky, grinning style, he'll raise me on principle. And similarly, that's fine. I'll invest some chips that I know I'm not going to play, just to allow him to do that, so then I get a hand and I limp, and he does it again.
Yeah.
And then you've got a whole bunch of new options. Obviously, you're going to be out position in those cases, but if you then do connect and you
you've
play
got him
out,
raising into you when you've got a hand, which is perfect.
And quite often it might just be a case of pushing really back at him and getting him to fold out, but he just feeds
still,
you chips.
You've captured that raise that he's put in. John Boy's broken the 1,000 barrier again. So Matt's got a pretty good hand in the big blind here. The blinds are 40-80.
Sorry to say, I'm not going to get any action.
Wow, and you've got John Boy to your right and you don't get a bet. You're cursed.
I know.
I think it's because he said he's not as rich as you would like to be.
No,
So
and
he's
he's
quietened him down a bit.
Yeah, he's probably realised that
Nash
he's really done it to himself in the
Nash
most
isn't
instances.
quite. He's got King Jack, Co-Jack. He's made it 160. Twice the big blind.
I think. Oh, do you know? I really don't remember doing that. I always find this. I just don't remember.
This could be your multi-tabling.
This could be. In fact, you know, I'm really curious to see. I've got a horrible feeling at some point I do something that I didn't know I'd done. I came to the table, and no, I know you're laughing, but my table came to the front, and I really had a lot less chips than I thought I had. And I've got a really funny feeling I might have done something bonkers at some point and not realised which.
Well,
you know, I mean, I'm used to higher definition screen, a couple of monitors, you know, all this.
You've got us salivating at the thought of this. We're going to see a bonkers play.
I don't know. No, I could be wrong. Maybe I just lose some in some blinds, but I just remember looking down and suddenly I had 1,600 rather than 2,000. It was probably the blinds just gone up and I was losing focus. It was all a haze. I'd had a few coffees, you know.
We might see this sort of hand come out the corner of the screen
and just steal some chips.
Steal some chips from your
Somebody
stack.
had my chips. Or some bright spark
You'd
noticed.
really freak out if a hand came out the corner of the screen there and just lifted some chips from.
Well, you know, I hesitate to mention it because I'm sure that I'm sure that I didn't do something, but I just
Jack 5. This could be it. You could.
No, I don't.
We're waiting in anticipation.
Well, I've only got 2002, and I guess the blinds are going to jump up. So no, that's probably where it went. I probably wasn't paying attention to the blinds because I was kind of bouncing around a bit. But
John Boy Rebel in the big blind with Queen Deuce has been raised by Dean P.
He's back up to 1,300, so you know he's going to start probably shoveling chips around a bit more.
Matt's got ace suited, but the blinds have gone up. They've gone up to 81.60, so the price of poker is getting more expensive. And Dean P refuses the temptation to raise there.
All in.
Well, it's very hard for ace 4.
Yeah.
And John Boy, he made a move, and I think he's a good play by him. I think it was right for him to go all in.
Yeah. And because his image is very much always pushing chips, is that if your timing's off and you call him on the day he's got the hand, I mean, to be honest, you know, who knows what the board's going to bring? He can beat you with anything. But if your timing's off and you go, come on then, and actually he has got a hand, you're just jeopardising the situation.
Of course, we mustn't try just to guess exactly what hand he's got. So basically, our question we should ask ourselves is what selection of hands can he be doing this to me with? And we have to now write down, basically, in our minds, the whole list of hands he could make that all-in raise with. And then basically, that's how we make our decision.
Yeah. 320, pot 720.
Well, you got second pair there, and
good enough to find out.
Yeah, well done, Matt.
A little nibble.
No, that's fine. I like it. You're keeping control of. I like the way you're controlling the size of the pots at the moment.
Well, again, it's just because
I like the bet size selection. It's been, the very fact. There's maybe a couple there. Maybe I had doubts about the minimum bet.
Yes.
But when you followed it up, I thought it was fine. I didn't know what your long-term plan was with that. So
I sensed you weren't comfortable with that, James. But I did have a plan.
Yeah, and when you had the plan, I liked it. I thought it was good, and that now it added to the storyline. That little bet now was because you had such a good hand. You were just trying to sucker him in there to give you something, And in the end, when he wouldn't, you thought, well, I might as well just finish you off if you're going to be so useless and not pay me. And he believed it. And now we've got a flat raise, but I don't mind this so much now because the blinds are pretty big.
Yeah.
You are actually screaming out, I'm raising. Look,
Yeah.
there's 320 in there. But you can get tough to get away from him because he hasn't got so much.
Exactly. Well, if
he raised, it might be a thing of desperation or something.
Well, I'm surprised, Anfield, James, because I was now where there are 3 players that actually could very easily just go in, and I'm surprised to see Anfield chuck down Ace-10 suited there.
But I think that's okay because I think if he'd rather have a betting situation
than a calling. Yeah.
Yes, and so I'm not going to say, oh, I don't like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a bit crazy.
Because he wants to have maximum fold equity here, and he doesn't want to give anyone the thought that he can make him put it down even. I hope they haven't got that thought, but he should just put the lot in.
Yeah, it works out. But yeah, I'm surprised by that because there's not enough pressure from
because
that
there might
bet
be a
to
bad
really
player who thinks, oh, I might be able to get him off it. Well, he doesn't want to play this hand. He's very happy to capture 240 chips, no risk. That is a far better deal than playing it.
Me and John Boy again. And once again, he goes on. As soon as we end up heads up, he just seems to push in against me. And again, I just not prepared to risk it. Again, as it turns out, he has hands. The interesting thing here is actually within the game is not many of our hands were getting shown. So it's very hard to, I think people were finding it hard to know what I had, and similarly we didn't know where John Boy was.
Done it again.
Another ace.
But after you send away for that bull worker, he won't do it again.
He won't be kicking sand in my face. Somebody did suggest I get involved in the charity multi-table game so I could buy a new jacket. Why? What's wrong with the jacket? Every single program, the jacket gets attacked. I mean, it's got a bit of fur on it. Oh, the dog, got a bit carried away.
They're not keen on it?
No, apparently not. I think they like it, really. I think it's one of those things where
they're jealous of it, maybe.
I think they are. Bingo. I think that's
envy.
Well, it's a hideous thing in humans, isn't it?
John Boy Rebel.
He's going to go all in on it.
Well, he's making himself difficult to play against.
Well, that's why it kind of slowed me down, because this is just the trend is set. We can actually see now that he's very rarely doing it with junk. I was just becoming aware that Anfield to the left at some point is probably going to make that move. So I'm going to now start picking my moments to
however,
push.
can we remember the hands he's done it with, though?
It's another 7-8, by the way. This time,
I think you chicken out with it this time.
I can't remember what John Boy does.
I think you chicken out. I don't think you play 7-8 here.
You don't think I'd play it?
No. I can't imagine it. It's getting tense here, really.
It's getting a bit tense, yeah? I knew this would happen.
James read it right.
Drama. Well, I just don't need to get called by one of these short stacks and get involved in anything ludicrous, and I'm not going to raise up because I've got the chip lead. So sorry, Mark Banning, but 7-8, no way.
Plus, you couldn't have bared hearing the commentary on it.
Do you know what? The first time I did it, it was a gag, and actually it worked very badly, and I had to get out of it by betting. I had to kind of ignore the hand I had and use betting to win that hand. I thought, I don't want to get into that again, because I was fortunate with the first time, hitting a decent flop.
Yeah, wonderful flop. That was a good dream flop. A pair on a straight draw. It was a pretty good flop. Jimmy Boy makes it 640.
That's half
we've still got 6 players here, and it's 163.20. So now, really not too much play around.
Jimmy is going to make Dean P27 all in.
John Boy. Point out that Matt Broughton is still our chip leader.
Huzzah!
And has been for a while.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm Sky Plus in this.
Ace, King.
And that's not a bad turn.
Ping, ping. 2 pair.
1260.
1 pair. And thank you very much. But again, people still all surviving here. So this is making less and less play for people.
I think I might just pick this up uncontested. Unless John Boy raises, at which point I'm probably going to give it to him now. I didn't think so.
Aha.
I remember there being a
what a wonderful time to get 480.
More than happy with
that. That is amazing.
That is a gift, isn't it, really?
Absolute amazing.
And I'm aware here that I've got
one of the sweetest feelings, I think.
It is. See, I'm looking at this thinking, Anfield, I'm happy to get Anfield all in and go heads up here, but Nash has made the move.
Right, so you have to go over the top if you play. have to. Oh, but Anfield there's going to be there as well.
Yeah,
oh no,
that's
yes,
what I'm
you're
saying.
right,
Is that
yeah.
I'm happy to, if everyone falls to me, I'm happy to push
Yeah.
Anfield because he's coming all in.
No, that's right.
But
And it's awkward. We can see you'd have hit the trip twos, but
Yeah.
the thing is, you're likely to be against 4 overcards or something, which is pretty horrible. In fact, the only way you're probably going to win it is by, normally, would be just by hitting your trips.
Exactly, and as you say, it comes down on the board, but
No, I
most
think he
of the
did-
time I'm so happy to.
I think he did a correct pass.
And John Boy, once again?
I think you could have taken Nash on, if it was going to be heads up, you could have done it. But you weren't going to be able to squeeze him out of it.
No, there was no way it wasn't going to be three-way. Well, that was my assumption anyway.
No, I think you're right. He had the lower stack, so he was like to plop it in there.
And we lost Anfield. But Dean, and now we've got a bunch of players all around the... 3 players around the 1,000-ish
Now,
mark.
you've got 2280, the blinds is 163.20. No, I don't. Did you contemplate doing anything?
The only reason I didn't is I just imagined people were going to start getting desperate.
Okay, so you wanted them to do something first.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that just levelled it out again.
Exactly.
Now it's a
And
bit
I think
annoying.
this is, you know, I said suddenly my chips are down. It's because I gave up too many hands thinking these guys, again, Nash, 5-6 suited. I could put him all in it, but John Boy's beat me to it.
No, now you've got to pass this, obviously.
And this is what I found. Again, I played a similar game where I had very aggressive players. Every time I thought, I'm going to make a move, he would make the move and suck the kind of the momentum out of my way.
Time was going on there. I was wondering what would happen if you had that King Jack there. I know there was an ace out there, but I'm not bothered about what's there. I'm always imagining I don't know what people have got. I'd have certainly been contemplating there.
Yeah. I was probably too focused on people's chip stacks, to be honest, and I just imagined these guys are going to start going all in with every hand.
Yep.
And I don't know if King Jack is really... Someone with Ace 2 is probably going to push all in at this stage because the blinds are moving swiftly.
Yeah, but they're not
now.
necessarily going to call with it.
True enough, sir.
They will push with it, but they won't call with it, and that's the difference. You could have preempted the action, because you know people are going to be doing that, but they're not keen to call generally.
Yeah.
So I just think it merited more thought than it looked like it got that hand. It just
I think very quickly, James.
Okay,
no, you're right.
brilliant.
No,
So-
I know. I accept that. I accept that criticism. Totally.
because of you've got to look ahead and say, if I go through these blinds, which is likely without any success, now I'm going to be down to whatever. And now you can see that the pressure's mounting. But however, it's going quite well here because we've lost another player, so your equity's gone up anyway. As you're
Jack or a 3.
edging closer towards the prize money.
And that sees Dean. So I've managed to get beyond the bubble for a change. So this is my
Ding,
best
ding.
ever. I'm already
Brilliant.
beating my
You're in the money.
754.
Now, you are lower... No, you're not lower stack. Oh, you will be when you put your 320 in. Sorry, yes, you are lower stack, but can you go on to get higher?
Not with 6-3, I think, James.
No, I remember you played that with success earlier in the sit and go, if I remember.
Did I?
Yes, with your mini bet, which you won
Oh, that's right, yes.
on the turn. You see, I do remember the hands, Matt.
2s.
Well,
Johnny Boy, I'm sure, is going to raise me all in.
and I think you have to play, sir.
I believe you find I do so.
Yes,
And then the 10 comes on the flop.
and...
I'm going 2s, just a 2. No.
No.
So sadly,
Well,
that's me done.
I think that was fine. I think you're right to play there.
The
I
King
thought-
Jack, you're not sure about, are you?
Well, because I think time was already... I think the problem there is you were looking at other people, which is fine, but you had to look at your own situation as well. And what had happened was that the tournament had gone on for so long without losing people. We'd got up to such a high level that everybody was very short of play.
Yeah.
Now, King Jack is an above average hand.
Yeah.
It's short-handed. You haven't been doing a lot of pushing anyway. So if all of a sudden you make a move under the gun, what are people going to think? They're going to give you a lot of respect for that because they haven't seen the play. So I think the window of opportunity was there for you to take down the blinds.
Fair dues? No,
What do you think?
No, I think you're right. I think I probably didn't think that through.
Right.
I just thought...
No, but what do you think now if you go back? Is it possible that you'd have to... It's certainly worth a consideration, isn't it?
It is. I think you're absolutely right. King Jack is not the worst hand to be in that situation. I guess I was probably just
But also
too much of an expexptation of the other players to be like going crazy before I need... I thought, I'm not at the stage where I
Right.
feel like I need to start going crazy.
Right. But
But
yes.
perhaps I was wrongly labelling that move as a crazy move.
Because we look at the blinds at that time, and hang on, it's 480.
Yeah.
You've only got like 4
I guess
rounds
I'm
of
looking like I've got 2 players behind me, both of which are at a point where they're kind of very low, and I don't really want to go King Jack against 2 or even 3 people.
Yeah. But who is going to, because of the way you've been playing, which has been pretty solid, what hands are going to call you is your question.
True enough. I'll give you that.
The chips are all a bit balanced. So they're all thinking the same as you. I'll let someone else get involved.
Yeah.
So the first guy who acts says, "Oh, he's under the gun," and we haven't seen that move from Matt. Oh, I don't fancy that. So he leaves it. It's just.
No, it's
Oh,
fine.
no.
No, it's fine.
Oh,
It's
no,
really
I'm
interesting
sorry,
to
Matt.
hear what you have to say, James. No, I think it's a valid point. I hope you learned a lot from it. I certainly did. No, thank you. No, seriously. No, it's good. At least I came with the money for once.
No, you did well. You did well. I liked some of the plays anyway. I thought you generally played well, and I thought you pretty.
No, there's no point
faultless.
trying to make me feel better now, James.
A pretty faultless
Ruined
performance.
Me. Pull me apart. No. Okay, we do have. We asked for Snap It to get in touch because he made that crazy move with the 7s. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this is true. I don't think it is.
Okay.
Hi guys, interesting comments. In fairness, it wasn't me, Governor. Someone raided my dustbin and nicked my identity. They took my poker account. Pity it wasn't my bank account. They must have seen my overdraft. I think it was you. Wasn't it, Ken? On a serious note, with a 7-7, I thought that Johnny Boy was on the steal. By the way, I do apologise, as we were chatting, Johnny Boy went on and won that. He actually took that down. So his aggressive killer stuff paid off. Good luck to you,
he did take control of the table.
He did. So he said, I thought JB was on a steal with that flop, which had 2 overcards in it. I thought the only way to play him was to put in a big raise, and with the small stack on the table, I decided to push in. I probably wouldn't have done it against anyone other than John Boy. Okay. I've only just started playing sit and goes again, so I'm really only experimenting. So your advice is respected. Fair dues. I mean, we thought that was pretty much the case. You didn't believe him, and you want to make a move, but timing's off when you're out of the tournament. I'm trying to mix up a lot now so people don't know where they stand, and that's why I've been trying the over-the-top bet.
Okay.
I'm trying to confuse people for a while because they all keep calling me tight. I don't think I deserve the tight reputation. After all, I almost played King earlier, but I wasn't in position and they weren't suited. Those suited kings, they're very hard to come by. I find that a lot in poker. Regards, Ken Snap It. Thank you, Ken. Very nice to hear from you. I think we pretty much put that situation right.
Right, I'd just like to make a comment. I think it's good that you're trying to mix up the play. I think that's excellent because now you will confuse people and it will give you more power to your game. That just was the situation of that tournament. The level you were at was probably just a bit extreme. Also, with it being a lower pair and already 2 overcards there, it's also, if those overcards hadn't hit, there's still a lot of overcards flying around where you can still just get pinged out even if the guy hasn't got anything, is the problem with it. And if he is the wild man, as you know he is, he's not the #1 person to be putting hands down, probably.
Yeah, but that's interesting because we heard from Ken previously when he was talking about the fact that he does play so much. Everyone's getting a really good feel for his game.
Yeah, of course.
So, you know, there was
full
comments
marks for varying it, though.
Yeah, and lots of comments on the forum saying it's becoming quite hard to play. And we find it when we play Beat the Presenter is we seem to see quite often those do get to very advanced levels with nearly a full table, which is so not the way of those kind of fast sequence sit and goes. But I think everyone's getting a feel, you know, Hoofy and Snap It and some of the regulars. We know how they play now. And John Boy, if we get him again, I think we pretty much know what game we're going to expect. But
He'll be playing like a rock next time, John Boy.
Exactly, he will prove us all wrong. But thanks very much for getting in touch. Don't forget, folks, still plenty of time to get in touch with us here. We'd love to hear from you. There's a couple of ways to do that. Why not send us a text? You can get hold of us on 84222. Please begin your message with poker and include your name, anything you would like us to discuss or just kind of pull apart. Email us as well, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Still an hour and a half to go here. Keep the emails coming. Thanks very much for everyone that's already been in touch with us. And we are going to jump down now and take a look at some more cash action. Through the blue window. And here's Ken, Snap It, and seat 3. There's cat. Is that the cat that you were talking about getting kicked earlier on, or did I just totally missed that point, didn't I? But there is a cat.
Oh no, that is a different cat.
Ah, okay. Duke is king. Seat number 5. Proudly announced. This is a 25 cents, 50 cents cash game. 8-seater. Don't be fooled though, you'll see the size of these pots. Even in 25.50 they can get pretty juicy.
Kansas Coyote.
Yeah. And the big blind has a hand, just gets it back.
Morrison, King 7. Duke is king. And he makes the small raise. And it's a re-raise from Kansas to 2.
Duke gonna see the flop for $1 more.
There's 375 in the middle, so he's getting 3.75 to 1.
Oh, that was an easy one. That doesn't count. I mean, I nearly could have done that.
Yeah,
Now I can't. Now I need my calculator. That's, did that just get checked past?
It did.
You could take a stab at this and probably pick it up.
It's a very hard flop for him to bet into, though, isn't it? There's a 9. There's a jack is a straight, and a horrible flop for him to fight, I think. But you can. The way is, he'd be representing. He had. Well, now it's paired up as well.
I think a couple of bucks would do the job here.
Okay.
It says a lot about my cash game.
Well, we've got a couple of bucks from the 10 instead.
Oh,
he's called.
I don't know about the call.
Well, yes.
I wouldn't have minded betting out with it, but the call I think is a bit.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have minded passing with the 6s myself. Because that flop is so dangerous, I think it's very hard for someone to not have something.
Yeah. Very easy to do that, isn't it? Convince yourself someone's got it. And it was, he did, but he didn't seem to want to bet at it, or even just find out if it was the best.
Yeah, because the flop had got more and more difficult.
Yeah.
Also, a jack gave a straight out there. So whatever hand you've got, even if you've got a high pair, it's a long way down the pecking order of hands.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing. So that it's not because I haven't got anything. It's just that they're aware of they're giving respect to the amount of possibilities out there. I think. Methinks.
Methinks you could be right, Mr. James.
Maybe. Maybe, baby.
Well, the jacks fall for Duke, but Crip's got the queens with a rather shabby kicker, which means Kansas Coyote is in a better situation. Also has the gut shot.
The Nina from Pasadena.
Duke is going to get involved as well.
Foolishly.
Yeah, I would think if you're going to get involved, you want to do a bit more than call. Crip now actually improves. That kicker's no longer part of his problem.
Because he's got queens and 8s with a jack, which is overtaking the 10 kicker.
Pot of splitness, I do believe, is occurring. Everyone shows their queens and Duke goes, I'll just put that in the muck.
And collects, shares, divvies up Duke's money.
Howie for cat.
Yeah.
And good news is, the player to his immediate left, ace-king suited.
So limping from the aces, and it's worked like a dream.
Cheeky.
Worked like a dream. Kansas has stuck his foot into the trap. How quickly will Cat snap the trap? Is he going to be brave enough to call? No, he's not. He's given the game away. But he's been called by Kansas. Now he checks. And that was not a good check, actually.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know that Kansas hasn't got a flush draw, etc., etc. To give him a free card there, poor. Aces again.
Wow, that's not too shabby. Come on. This is what we want. Hands. Touching hands. Snap it as suited. Try and limp in and connect. Yep.
You read him well.
Is Duke going to let them do it? Dangerous. Don't like slow playing anymore, I've decided.
And
Triples it up.
I think against 3 other people, he could have put a bit more in that time, because he's got 3 opponents.
Yeah, and the pot becomes more tempting, more attractive.
And now He's got a horrible flop for him because he doesn't have a diamond.
3 opponents, so you got to see
You've
there's
got to
going to
think
be
someone's
diamonds.
got a diamond out there.
You need to make a huge bet here,
You
I
don't
say.
think they've got a flush made, that's for sure, but you think, well, someone's got a diamond.
I might be tempted to hit, even though I hate it, the all-in button might come in handy right now. You really don't want any more cards.
He hit
out.
it.
There you are. So, good man. God bless you, sir. May all your trousers be brown.
31.50.
That's pretty much all of the pot. It's all pretty much his. Somebody might go, coming in.
You're just trying to bully us out of it. You've got nothing.
Morrison,
Someone might...
at least he's drawing to the nuts if he wants to fight. He's got 143.70. You
But
wonder,
he's getting terrible odds.
terrible odds, but he has it anyway. He really is getting negative odds there, and quite rightly.
Well, he's 35% to hit his flush. He did actually have a straight draw as well. So, beg your pardon, he had a slightly better chance. Apologies, Morrison.
But that took a big chunk, and at
Yeah, you had
25.50...
12 outs. Actually, it wasn't so bad. No, it wasn't so bad. It wasn't so bad.
Took a big chunk. Can imagine it probably took a while to get from up to 140 bucks at the 25.50 table, and he's back down, but still up in general parlance. And the minimum here is a $5 buy-in, the maximum is 50. But of course we don't know if any of these guys have had to reload.
Can you remember what that flop was, Matt?
With the aces,
It was all diamonds.
yeah, it was something kind of 10 something. I really can't remember, to be quite honest with you. It was certainly, yeah, the flop was all diamonds.
And he had a middle pin straight draw as well, didn't he?
Yes, I must admit I'd missed that as well first time round. I was so focused on the beautiful green. The beautiful green.
Beautiful green.
It's beautiful. Jack 10, Morrison going to just limp in and try and connect. Ace 6. Oh, well, I was about to say, what sort of flop do you want to see with ace 6? Probably an ace and a 6. Ka-ching. Welcome to it. But probably unlikely to get much of a payoff. See, again, it's so hard. We talk about the slow playing being dangerous, but he's decided that this all-in move is going to take him the pot.
Yeah, Morrison in the actual hand there, the way it was, he had about 45%.
Why wasn't the flop was all diamonds though?
Oh yes, but it doesn't matter. Sorry.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I just did that way. It's the same thing. I just gave him his flush draw a different way. And same thing.
Well, look at it. Duke has done this a few times in a row now. Ace King suited, also Ace King suited. Kansas, what's he going to put him on? He could be just doing this move over. He could have a pair. Probably puts him pretty much on the hands he has, but thinks, why do I want to get involved? It's going to be all of his stack. Funny enough, these two players had about the same amount. Pigeon Head, though, might see an opportunity here. He's only got 50 cents in, and he's about to push all of his remaining chips in. If he fancies it, is he a Pigeon Head? You fancy this? I might fancy a little race there. If I think I'm going into it.
What? For how much did he bet?
It was, well, Duke pushed all in,
Yeah.
and Pigeon only had 30 left. Pair of jacks.
It's
The thing is, Duke has just gone all in 3 times in a row.
yeah.
So I guess it's hard to know. Oh, God, he keeps getting his hands, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
That's the
does.
thing is, he can keep making this move until people sort of get sick of it. But if you get your timing wrong. But I take it then you don't fancy going in with jacks
Well,
for...
it's well, this is weird what he's playing now. The thing is, if he keeps on doing it, it gets strange, doesn't it? It just it's no ball. What is the guy going to have? I think I don't know how he's playing. We've got to try and work out what he's playing. I think you'd have to imagine he's doing it with pretty. If he's just doing it with ace king and top pairs, it's no bargain, is it? Because then you're an underdog calling with your jacks.
True, but no one's actually got to see any of them so
No.
far. So yeah.
I'm just saying, but if he is playing with like ace king or aces kings or queens, it's a very bad deal.
Yeah.
So you're favoured against the ace king and big underdog against the other 3, but we don't know what he's doing it with. But he's probably say, well, why do I need to
Risk everything.
on here? Yeah, I'd rather know. I'd rather be the initiator of the.
Turns out I am a gambler after all. Who'd have thought?
Don't let the wife hear.
Too late.
Oh. She's got a clue?
No, I mean she's watching.
Oh, right.
Unless she's passed out. not in that way, incidentally. 9, 10. Jacks for Snap It and Crip. $1, says Crip.
$1.
And there's a diamond just to spoil things, but with $3.50 in the pot, it ain't exactly fight night. Chops it up. See if AA does better with his fish hooks than Pigeon Head did. He got bullied off by Duke with his all-in.
Marco just called the raise with his jacks. He's got position. Now, I think Marco could have put in a raise pre-flop on that small raise, made it 3 at least. Maybe the same people would have stayed in, but I think it merited a raise. He had position on them, and with a pair of jacks in that situation, I think he should have been asking to play for more money. But now it's come around, he won't like the flop. It's 2 overcards there, and he's got away from it. But I'd have been tempted to put in a raise, I think, with the jacks. A small one, just to get them to play. Or maybe just one opponent, which would be good for the jacks. Duke is king, pretty horrible. He's called it, though. He must have known something.
He must have done, because I was going to say that's not a great place to be, not a great position to be calling a raise with
He's
ace-3.
checked his trips. He's not bothered about the flush draw. He's trying to get paid here, and he's going to. Well, are you just going to call now? Are you going to continue the story? Nope, he's put the raise in straight away. And Crip says this is really Crip.
Oh yeah.
And he's
decided to really, as if asking the question and getting the answer wasn't good enough, he's asked it again, just in case Duke didn't hear him properly.
yes, he's saying,
And
look,
you're saying, look, what don't you understand about my 3?
and now he's re-raised
Oh!
it. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? And Duke is king, thinking, what's he got? Oh
Good.
no!
What if he's got a pair of 5s? Duke.
No, of course he was teasing
Another
us.
heart or
Oh
a...
no, this would be outrageous.
No, well, that's
Ooh.
there you go. Look, what did I say? 25.50 cents. Look at that pot. 135 buckaroons. Not to be sniffed at.
Well, I'm sorry, the show is going to be...
That's a dream.
The show's going to finish in a few minutes because Matt and I are off to the 25-50 cent game.
Exactly.
You get
There's
pots
value.
like that,
There's value.
Queen Jack, lumping it all in there.
Well, that's a dream to hit a flop like that and to get somebody who just keeps coming at you. Better raise back, he keeps coming at you. That's what we want.
Wow.
Okay, just time for a couple of emails before we go to our final break of the evening. Hi guys, this is from Poker for Charity. He says, just want to say I love the show and a big thank you for putting on the Poker for Charity multi-table tournament that's been running tonight. Half the rebuy is going to charity for a great cause.
Oh, brilliant.
That's good stuff. They're saying any chance we can show some of the multi-table tournament. Sure, we will pick it up at some point in the future. We can't do that for you tonight, but thanks for getting in touch. Anybody that's watching the games that are running in the background, lots of good stuff, all for a worthy cause. This is from Double Top. Hi, Matt and James, about Johnny Boy Rebel. Don't be hard on JBR. He's an inventive player. We weren't being hard on him. We were sort of saying.
I thought it said he was very difficult to play against.
Absolutely.
He was pressurising the table. He had people quaking in their seats.
Well, exactly, and it makes it very difficult. And he went on to win it, so we weren't being very hard on him at all. I think we raised him on our virtual shoulders and hurrahed him into the sea. I've met the man named John Boy Rebel. You've met the actual man.
The man.
He made me laugh all night. Shall I stop now? And he's a great character for the Poker Night Live viewers. Absolutely agree. This is what we want, exciting players. I did have him to my right, and that's the best place for him.
Definitely.
He can play any 2 cards in any position, and that's a great attribute. Absolutely. It's a scary person to be up against, and when they're either side of you, frankly, it's not a nice thing to have. Total respect to John Boy Rebel. We were meant to ask him about 50-50 all-ins. Apparently there's some private joke. If Johnny Boy Rebel would like to get back to us and tell us what that's all about, that'll be fine. Other than that, we're going to go to our break now. We're going to pick up the end of the multi-table tournament after this break. Still encourage your emails. Other than that, please don't go anywhere. We will be back in just a few minutes. Ta-ta. Hello there, welcome back to Poker Night Live. Matt and James with you for the last hour of tonight's show. Hope you've enjoyed it so much. Lots of quite juicy action. We're going to quickly jump to an email and then we're going to go and see the very final table of our multi-table tournament we've been watching all night long. So this is an email that comes from Robin Joanne.
Okay.
Hi
regular.
Matt and James. Hi. Just wanted to share something with you that might encourage players who suffer bad beat. I don't mind bad beats, by the way. There's no ban on bad beats for me. It's just a good story. I was playing a tournament tonight, was doing really well, and then lost half my stack to an awful call and a really bad beat. A few hands later, the same happened again, and I was halved again. I felt like giving up, but the very next hand, I got 5-5, and the flop came 7-7-5. Two players went all in, both of which held a 7, and I won a massive pot. From there, I never looked back. It was a super satellite, and I went on to win a seat in the $1 million tournament on Sunday. Fantastic. I hope this encourages others who despair when things go horribly wrong. It's never over until the fat lady is indeed singing. So there you are. Every cloud has a silver lining or something. Thanks very much. Good to hear that. Always nice to hear when somebody's having a bad run of luck and then actually turns around and huzzah, welcome to poker in the other way. And
that's the thing is, however bad a run you might be having, we'd never know when it's going to change. This is just looking at what's happened. We don't know the future. It'd be handy if we did. So from your worst run of luck, from then on might be the start of the best run of luck you've ever had.
Indeed. And good luck if it is. Please do keep us posted and keep those checks coming in. Now, don't forget there's still an hour to go. Plenty of time if you do have any emails, anything you want to raise, any questions for James, anything at all you would like to see discussed. Get in touch with us here. You can do that by either texting us. 84222 is the number. 84222. Text the message beginning with poker and your name. Also email us, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk, as you see upon your screen. So earlier on tonight, we were following our multi-table tournament, our rebuy tournament. There was a hefty $1,680 in the pot. We're going to go in and check out the last guys on the final table.
And here it is.
Here it be. So
6 runners.
We are down to our last 6 indeed. Now 6th place picks up $109 for your, well I can't really say a $10 buy-in because of course what we don't know is how much the 6 individuals you're seeing here, one of them might have bought in for $10 and that was it. Some of them might have rebought a number of times. But if you imagine everyone has a couple of rebuys, so call it a 30. I know it's a complete generalisation, but it makes my life easier.
Anyway, and some of these are going, half of these are going to charity, I think.
No, this is a different MTT.
Oh, a different one.
That was in reference to a different MTT that was running also tonight.
Oh,
we didn't tune into it, but it was ticking over. The guys in my Beat the Presenter game were talking about it. But that was why they were saying thanks very much to the hosts for running it. But no, this is just our standard one tonight. But these guys have got 6th place, $109. 5th place, $134. 4th is $159. And then the big money clicks in for 3rd place, $210. 2nd is $336. And the first prize, 30% of the prize pool, $504. Not too bad. Even if you've rebought a good few times, that's still a pretty decent return on your investment there.
Nice.
And well done to all these guys. 92 entrants.
Bankroll.
Indeed, 92 entrants came into this, so it's, you know, they've cut through a fair field.
So the total prize money was?
$1,680.
Okay.
You're going to work out now, aren't you?
Yeah, I just wanted to see.
I know where you're going with this, and I like your style. Wow. Rapid's been given a free card here. Puts 3,000 in. Gets paid nicely. The danger of a free card.
Did you say 1,680, Matt?
I did so.
I thought you did.
What's that give us with 92 players? You're looking at me in a very scary way, James.
Yes,
Thank God the cameras aren't on. Children screaming.
Yes, I think I might have...
Press the wrong button.
Pressed the wrong button.
Does it say boobless? Well, quite tight. The chip leader by a good 10 grand. ahead of Pulsar. Then Rapid Flex, Cat Attack, Galway Ace, and M Scott. But short of quite tight, there's not a huge amount between any of these guys. So the blind's at 1,500, 3,000.
Yeah, they're very, very conservative in their buy-in tournament.
Really?
Yes, it was. It's an average price of just $18 per player.
Really? Okay, well that is surprising. That is surprising.
$18.26 per player.
Of course, we don't know if that's one person buying in 60 times and everyone else the once.
I think unlikely.
Unlikely.
This is pretty tame, isn't it, for a rebuy?
That's pretty controlled.
Because I think add-ons as well, so...
Yeah. Oh, hello. Well, isn't that horrible? I just hate that so much. Sorry, I just suddenly launched into this.
What do you hate?
You know, you get in there with your pair.
Yeah? Which pair?
The sevens.
Yeah?
Krang, you say to yourself. Forget the fact he's got queens, but, you know, bing bong.
Yeah?
Every 7.5 times, apparently, hurrah, today is my day.
Yeah.
I've made my set. Oh, and look, it's all that is suited, and I haven't got any part of it, and now I'm so scared of that flush. And
No, you should celebrate.
You should celebrate what the fact is, it's a flush down.
Yes, definitely.
Tell me why, James.
Well, because now you've hit your trips, which is wonderful, and now there's a good reason for someone to be paying you off. And it's quite possible maybe they even might make the flush and then ping you make your full house.
Yeah, it's a very positive attitude.
Yeah.
I like that.
You should celebrate it.
Okay.
Because from that situation, you're only 2 to 1 to make your house anyway.
Okay.
You want someone there with the king of spades shoveling money in there against you, and you're in a great shape.
I take that on board, James. I feel quite.
A flop you should like.
Oh, I feel dreadful.
Well, no, you should feel happy. It's now because you've got a new feeling.
I do. That's it. I'm leaving now. I'm going to go and instantly wait until exactly the situation happens, and I might not be back for some time. When it does happen, I'm going all in. However, I will come and burn down your house if I don't win that hand. So no pressure, but you know, I think risk reward. You want to tell me things like that, you might get your house burnt down. Of course, I'm only joking. I just burn his car. Ace King suited for Cat Attack. Good evening, Cat Attack. Sorry, sounded a bit like Alan Partridge. Very scary property. Quite tight. Nibbles ahead with his chip lead. 66 grand. 1,500 versus 3 grand on the big blind. Plenty of play for all of these guys. You're going to tell me something interesting.
Yes, because I think this is an interesting fact. Just you're sitting there with your trip sevens.
Yep.
And I don't want you to work it out. I just want
No.
I'm actually just your stomach feeling. I want.
Okay.
And what you used to have, and before you've even been said anything now,
Okay.
you're sitting there with your trips, and now someone's got that flush draw.
Yeah.
And now it's played out. How do you feel? What percentage do you think you feel like? What do you feel like? As I said, I don't want your brain in action. I just want you. How you used to feel about this situation. You must have, because you commented on it, it must have been a position that you...
it depends if they were first to act and they bet out big at it.
Yeah, no,
okay.
but how many times do you think you win this situation?
Oh, I see what you mean.
How did it feel like? What did it feel like in your...
I feel like I'm going to win this once out of every 4 times or something.
Yeah, and the truth is you're actually going to win it 72% of the time, even though he's on a flush draw.
Okay.
Because you will be making a house, about 33% of the time. So even if he makes his flush, you'll...
There's still the chance, yeah. I guess especially because that's occurred on the flop, isn't it? So yeah, there's still the chance.
Yeah, you've got 2 draws to make your house, but he's got 2 draws to make his flush.
Even if he bets into me, I'm going to call it, James. No, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And I will be round.
But that's interesting, isn't it? Because we found something there which has just realigned your poker brain.
You're right. I guess that's... And it is a stupid way to think, because... Why wouldn't you want him to have a piece of it? Because
you want to get
paid.
If
you're going to keep playing with these pairs, primarily hoping to make a set, why would you be happy that you've made your set when no one else is going to even come along for the ride?
And
so
now,
I take that.
And now let's just look at something else, because this is a good point. Because you made something, I know this a little bit flippantly.
No.
You said, okay, I can go all in. No. Because now, I've told you, in this situation, you are a chunky favourite in the situation. You want to be the poker bookmaker and say, well, come on, pal. I know what your overall outcome is on this. And now make him take the wrong bet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you think around the other way, how frustrating to hit your flush only for the other guy to house up.
Yes. And of course, it's what, 118 to 1 to have flopped the flush if he's holding the 2 cards. So you're pretty sure that that's an unlikely. Oh, mind you, that's the wrong way around to think about it. But yes, I know exactly what you're saying. Even if he's beat you, at least he's going to be paying, and you've still got the opportunity. Yeah,
and if you did this, if you reran this, and you're in a money game and you're betting, if you reran this 100 times, this is a lovely situation. You want to be doing this attack. You can be giving the guy the wrong price to call for his flush draw, which might even get turned over anyway.
It's the 4-colour deck, James. It just sends me wild.
Yeah. But I think it's a good point. It's a good point for our viewers. I think.
It is. It is an interesting point because I can't help. I do go. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe it. Does it have to be a flush draw when I've hit trips? But you should now think, lovely.
Brilliant. We're going to get some
now
money
I can get paid on this coup, because when we play our small pairs, we're looking to get implied odds. We're not looking to take it down.
Yeah.
We're looking to get implied odds. So we have this whole obstacle. 1, we have to click our trips. 2, we have to find a way that someone wants to play with us. So therefore, a flushy flop is a good chance for them to play with us. So we get the whole coup in 1. Hit the trips, and we have an opponent, probably.
You've changed my world, James.
Good.
No, I think that's fantastic that I just said that and that we've learnt that, because I didn't, in that situation, you remain such a favourite.
Yeah.
And I guess the truth is, without really thinking about it in the maths way, you think, yeah, but you could always hit the full house. Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. But, who, me?
yeah. And it is very easy to kind of talk yourself out of
but then we've got to just
good situations.
Take it all away, get the bones away, and just have a look at the nitty-gritty of it. And then, now we're realigned. Everyone watching tonight, we're realigned poker players. We know where we are. There are going to be lots of people around your house if this is wrong. We've actually lost one. We've lost a player, I'm sad to say. They'll be coming around and saying, thanks, James.
Exactly. 6th place, 109. Well done. We are down to our top 5.
Top 5.
2s and 6s. Minimum bet, but not even a tiny part of that for Rapid.
Well, Rapid Flex, the chip leader, followed by Quite Tight.
And it was, of course, Galway Ace that went out in 6th with his $109 Enos. Well done. An interesting flop for a couple of our players. A very interesting flop now for Scott.
And why is that?
Let me just get my rankings out. Let me just get my hand rankings out, just in case I say the wrong thing.
You didn't. You were spot on. Because
the bad news is that Rapid has got the bigger version, and that's
that 9. What a killer card! Yeah. Mr. M. Scott didn't need it. He had the straight already, and along came the 9 and
opened the door for Rapid to make the bigger job.
Yep. Nasty business.
And now
very unlucky.
M. Scott going to be feeling the pinch of our 2,000, 4,000 blinds. Going to be waiting for anything. Is that going to be good enough for him? 6 grand in the pot. It's half his stack. No, it isn't. See, it's a bit late. 2 6s are 18. And never forget that. Never forget that.
Well, he's clicked the all-in button, and I think he's going to capture 6,000.
Yep. Timing looks good to me.
Yep. And he needed it.
Yeah.
And look at that. That's very significant. Now he's increased his stack by a 1/3, and so that was a great play. I like it.
Yep. Don't think he's going to make it again.
Cat attack, not the one we were talking about earlier. 28,000. And he's captured the blinds.
Yeah, and these blinds are well worth stealing here.
Definitely are. 6,000 a time.
Ace 10. Is he going to push? Maybe gets M. Scott all in with this. But of course he's got the chip leader behind him, which is a horrible place to be if you're trying to get the man on the other side of him. But both Pulsar and M. Scott are going to be fragile. And Pulsar's about to get walloped for $4 grand. This Queen 10 a hand you want when you know the next one's going to be $4 grand you're stacking anyway. A6 good enough. Yeah.
Oh, we've seen the extra money in there, but now Rapid Flex will call.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, oh my God, that's obscene. That's obscene.
Well, if you're going to beat someone, you may as well just, you know,
flop the house and then just make it four of a kind, just in case you're worried.
It could have come down with an ace, really, just to make it the perfect hand. A bit sloppy of him.
Look at that. I mean, that is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Jack, Jack, King, Jack.
Yeah. Flop the house, because that happens to me all the time. And I do quite often, just in case the full house is looking shaky, I do like to try and develop that into quads. I must admit, it's very much the way I would play that sort of hand. Yeah. Well, you know, the ace was good for Scott. Let's be honest, most of the confrontations we go into. As the poker gods just took over the site for a moment, they just typed in 10, make flop, Jack, Jack, King, go to 10, run.
That should get the chat box working.
Exactly. There'll be accusations. Fix! It's a fix! But there you go. I've said it a couple of times. Welcome to poker. If you go into those situations with the best of it, doesn't mean you're going to come out of it with the best of it. Quad jacks was a little bit over the top.
It was, wasn't it?
Just a pair of kings would have been enough, really, to be honest. Hey, you know, I went in with an ace, the guy hit a king, not the guy hit the boat and made quads. You don't really need that. I'm going to run that one through the odds calculator, see what the chances of that are.
Pulsar, ace, king.
It's going to be...
got the cat attack dominated, but up and down straight for cat attack.
18 in.
And is he going to preempt the action? But the thing is, Pulsar's only got 16's a problem, and there's 18 in the middle.
Yes.
Now Pulsar is pushed. He's got 2 overcards and a 10. The 10, of course, would give him the straight. This is now very difficult for cat attack. It's virtually put him all in. He'll be left with 6,000.
Well,
and it worked.
That's juicy, to say the least.
Now, yes, cat attack there. Maybe missed his opportunity of a semi-bluff. He could have actually pushed in first.
Yeah, he kind of let go of the momentum there, and now he's got himself a draw. No quads for you, young man.
And
very quickly there, we're down to our top 3 prize winners.
And there's a situation there, Matt, where cat attack had to basically look at his situation, his chip situation. Now the blinds are 2,000, 4,000. He had 22,000. Okay, so he's got less than 4 rounds of play. He's got a situation where he's got an up and down straight. Now he has to ask himself, have I got any... He doesn't know what his opponent's got, obviously. But now he has to ask himself, have I got any fold equity here if I push all in? Well, what's the thing he can see straight away? Well, he's got his opponent covered.
Yeah.
So he's going to be dead if he's wrong, and he's not going to be dead if he's wrong.
Yeah.
He doesn't know if his opponent's hit anything. Maybe even just hitting his king might win. As it happens, it wouldn't have done because the opponent had ace-king. But he does know one thing. If he hits his up and down straight, he's pretty sure that's going to win. So therefore, it was a classical window of opportunity for a semi-bluff. A hand where he thought, maybe I'm losing at the moment, but if I hit, I will win.
Yeah.
And because of his chip situation, not much time left, maybe this was his best opportunity of all.
Yeah, and I think, it adds more gravity to the point you're making, is the fact that because cat attacks all in wouldn't have left him dead if he gets called and loses.
That's a little extra icing on the cake,
because
isn't it?
right now the difference between fourth place finishes with $159, third place is $210. So that adds to that kind of gravity of the do I want to get involved with this guy? Right, you know.
What cat attack has to say, and what happens next? Am I really going to have... Because he was, still languishing in the bottom 2 there.
Yeah.
So he's now... If I let the guy take it, in fact, he's going to go in last place.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's got to bear that in mind. So we should be looking at that. And that was something I mentioned to a friend of mine one time when he was in the tournament and he had a King Jack.
Really? That sounds like a very good hand to me. I mean, it's the sort of hand you want to be. You don't want to be calling with it, but you want to be betting with it, James. I don't know what you said to him.
No, what I'm saying is, it's just these situations. We've got to do a bit of thinking. Where are we in this tournament?
Yeah.
How much are these rounds costing us? Well, this isn't the play I'd normally do. Yes, but look at the circumstances.
Yeah.
Because different circumstances cause the need for different plays. And if we re-look at that, I think it's pretty clear he should have been the one being the aggressor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. And it does come back to, ironically, I was actually going to refer back to our conversation about the King Jack.
Yes. That one's not as clear,
no.
But it certainly needed, on that one, all I would say is, I don't mind you not doing it, but all I'm saying is, it certainly should have been a really serious consideration, which you didn't give it. And that's all I'm saying. But I'm not saying it's clear-cut, that one, but I could give some merit to that play for sure.
Well, I think the thing is, the key part of what you said when we were discussing that King Jack is that my concern was as you rightly said, not my hand, but what other people had. But the difference is,
you could have given them that concern.
What somebody had was, is this a hand I'm going to make a move with versus is this a hand I'm prepared to call with? And I think that's a good description for that cat attack Pulsar heads up.
Yes.
Is that Pulsar's got a hand that is thinking, Yahoo! I've not hit the flop, but I've got my overcards, etc., etc. And if cat attack pushes into him, then it's is this a hand I want to call all in with? Which is such a different consideration.
Exactly.
Right, this guy's checked it to me. Is this a hand I'm prepared to make a move with?
That's
yeah,
right.
for sure. And it does change the distinction. It changes the texture of the hand totally.
So cat attack there, you would have to say, yes, he definitely had some fold equity there.
Yeah,
he definitely,
especially with the prize money consideration
his
as
opponent
well.
might have had as good a hand as he had. You can say he's definitely got some fold equity there. And if it also goes wrong, he can definitely win the hand anyway, because he's going to make it straight over 30% of the time anyway, with two cards to come.
A very good point. Good that we've had a couple of examples to reinforce that. I shall take that away with me. And cat attack, nonetheless, congratulations go to him.
Yeah, he did well anyway. He must have got quite good money, did he?
Fourth place, $159.
That's very good.
And as we've worked out,
tournament.
Yeah, as we've worked out, it wasn't really much of a crazy pumping rebuy tournament. And also Emma Scott, that went out before him fifth, is $134. And just a quick mention also, we didn't come to the table. We missed Golden Jaguar, one of our regulars that actually went out in seventh just before we came to the table with $84. Spencer Boy was 8th, 67.20. Half Face, 9th with 50.40. And Crabbit Git, 10th with 25.20. But here we are with our top three. Some big prizes: 504 top, 336 second, and 210 for third. And right now, quite tight. Short stack, but by no means hobbling, or whatever you do in poker parlance.
That's a new one, but it could catch on.
You never know your luck. With a saucepan and a duck, which is another one that might catch on, but probably won't.
Hobbling, I think, is favourite.
yeah. Well, hello. Gosh. Welcome to the same hand, but see, here's me. See, now I'm really pleased that flush has come down on the flop.
Well, your hand isn't such a monster this time, Matt, so let's not confuse everyone here.
As if I do that, having played 7-8 masterfully and to beat the presenter earlier on. I never like to confuse people. Jack 9.
I'll take your opponents, hopefully.
Ace 10.
And
Ka-ching.
Good play by quite tight there, not letting Pulsar limp in, and basically heads up. He's got a fancy his ace 10's pretty good.
And quite tight was our chip leader initially. He's fallen somewhat behind, but
It's still quite a close contest.
Yeah,
though,
there's plenty of play left even for the short stack here with 2-4 on the blinds.
Yeah, everyone's still got play here. Well, King Queen, three-handed. Yep, I think that's fine. Well, looks like it's going to be a battle of the blinds here. Is he just going to make it up, or is he going to put it in with a raise? Put it in with a raise. And worked well.
It's good enough.
Fold equity or chance to play. rather than leaving the door open to be pushed off it.
Yep.
And that was only after 10 minutes on the bull worker. It's
What is it with
amazing.
this ball worker? You got shares in there or something? Is there,
They don't make them anymore, do they?
I have no idea. 7-8 offsuit.
Ah, right. Mark's just
Do
tuning
it
in.
for
Oh, too late. He missed it.
Thought he was going to take one for the team there.
Mark will kick the cat now. How could he put that down?
Exactly. I mean, that's a monster in anyone's book.
The mother of all hands. Wouldn't have liked this flop too much.
But he probably still would have won.
Could have hit the 9.
He'll be out there. He'll be qualifying for the World Series. He'll be out there championing. I've just seen the future, the picture of all that money stacked up and Mark having his picture taken with,
With the 7-8.
7-8 stuck in the billions.
That'd be a nice picture.
I'm sure we could superimpose his face on a real winner. Sorry, it sounded a bit more
Cheeky.
vicious than it meant to be. Yeah. Bring on the 8s. No. That's about as pickled as it gets, really, is it? Nobody's got anything. No one's got any part of the flush.
So quite tight should win it then.
Well, he should really, yeah. That's even worse. He's going to get checked down, isn't it? And quite tight's going to.
You might put a bet in.
4's ace, king, jack.
You might want to try and push it. Yeah, I thought he put a bet in. Just in case.
What do you consider that bet? It's not really a value bet. It's
No, it's not. He might be pushing out a queen. Someone who hasn't got anything, just a higher card. You can't be sure that a
right.
jack.
I see what you're saying.
So it's a
of
good
course.
bet, really.
Yeah, because it did come down to the kicker there, didn't
Yeah,
it? Of course,
he doesn't
because of
believe that his opponent's going. It's possible. He might even think he might get the guy to put down the smallest flush. But he thinks he's not certain he's going to beat a no hand with a jack high, because the guy could have a queen, a king, an ace, or a jack with a bigger kicker. So there's a lot of hands who haven't connected, which are better than his. So he's put in the bet just to make sure he takes down the pot.
Oh, I like it. Look at me learning. I'm just like a sponge, just absorbing it all. Don't remember anything.
You better.
No, I am. It's a hungry brain just soaking it all up.
Good, good.
Get some more coffee in here.
Rapid Flex decides not to speculate with the 3-4.
Well, he's got a juicy old lead there, but the blinds must be due for another hike fairly soon, I think. Quite tight once again, just loses his position, comes back into the small stack. Pulsar.
Lovely time. Let's see how he plays this, because you definitely want to get money with this. You don't want the blinds. You want to play. I see. I would have kept it a bit smaller. Maybe.
Yeah, do you know? I was just going to say, you always doubled it, and then I realised, no, once again, 2 6s aren't 18. Yeah, I think just a double of that would have got quite tight and interested. But
I wouldn't even mind just a limping in with it, to tell the truth, because I'd have position, and you've got position with a big pair.
Yeah.
So I could even just limp in there. You want to try and win a big hand with it. Well, what we're going to see now, he just made up the blind this time, varying his play there, Pulsar, anyway. And he's clicked the second pair, so he decided to put a bet in, half the pot.
good enough.
And found out where he was with a few more chips. Ace deuce on the button. Pulsar.
I'm surprised he didn't take up to 18 there, because he seems to be getting a lot of respect when he makes that move.
Oh, quite tight decides he'll take it up there instead. And it's really levelling out this contest.
Yeah, quite tight's just nibbled up a couple of positions. Chipwise, Rapid Flex is just coming down. He's picked up ace queen. Nothing wrong with that, just doubles it and does indeed connect. But the 6 would bring Pulsar the straight, and that doesn't make it any better. Rapid thinks that's quite enough of the straight cards for free.
I've been upset tonight, Matt.
What's wrong, mate?
Well, they put the bar down the side of the computer screen, and I like it at the bottom.
Well, just drag it, James.
Yeah, no, I don't want to have to do that.
You just drag it. No, actually, I don't know how you do that. Oh, yeah, yes, I do. Like, you can drag it all over the place. If anyone knows how to move the start bar on Windows, please do get in touch with us. Oh, there you are. Now, like, grab it. Click.
Oh, you get there.
This isn't really prime TV. Grab it just underneath where the green bit is.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, just there.
Click. No, that'll just drag it. You need it. I don't know. Hang on a second.
Yeah, you see.
We'll be back with you shortly, folks. It's very important. No, I see now. See now, I've broken my one.
You've broken it. Oh, good.
Oh, I've got it right. Okay.
Yeah.
Click and hold in the blue bit, James.
Oh, in the blue bit. Okay.
And now just slide it down all the way down. There you go. A small IT problem there, folks. Sorry for that break.
But I'm now happy.
You're happy? You should have said earlier on. I didn't realise you were in distress.
Yeah,
there.
I was distressed because I can see the time in the bottom corner. Yeah, I'm very happy.
The good news is we have solved that problem. Apologies for whatever poke we missed.
Click, drag, and that's it.
Click, drag, and you're good to go.
Quite tight. Is he good to go?
Well, Rapid Flex has just sort of suddenly
Wow.
dropped 30 grand. But
however, he's going to get money back.
Quite tight. I'm probably not going to call that, I would say. Quite confident there. 4 or 5.
That's just not showing all the numbers on his bet.
No, there's a lot there, isn't there? There's a lot more than it looked.
Yes. He's still big chip leader.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Lots of that was already in the pot.
Yeah, yeah. And also, it doesn't show all the numbers because there was too many numbers he put in the pot.
Technology can't deal with it.
No, too big.
In the future,
too hot to handle.
They'll be able to do it. And
yeah,
at the top where it
tomorrow.
says, the blinds at the moment, you'll notice, are 3,060, which is a very strange blind structure.
Yeah.
I think that might not be all there is.
And there's that flush.
It is. Quite tight. That's a key hand. Finally, quite tight. Moves back up out of bottom chips. Pulsar's going, ooh, misses. Or some such statement. Quite tight. Gets the button. What's he going to get for his troubles? 4-5. 7-8 offsuit. Takes it down. I mean, tick another kill up for Pulsar with the 7-8. So funny. I don't remember ever reading any interviews with the pros where they say, you know, what's your favourite hand? I just don't remember 7-8 coming out much. King 7 on the button. No. Going to conserve his chips. The blind have gone up to 3,000, 6,000. Welcome to Saturday morning.
Getting right back in there again now, up to 86,000. Right, are we going to see something from here? We've got another 7-8. Oh,
no, it was 7-5.
Beg your pardon. It was almost an 8 if I joined the... I sneaked that little 5 around the corner there. I could have made it into one.
Yeah, why not? You know, go for it. All of a sudden, Pulsar's going, give me a hand so I can go all in.
So we're looking at his situation here now. Each round's costing him 9,000. And this is what... Don't, please, just call.
18.
No, call.
18.
Just call. Just call. Please just call. Okay, well that's better than you did last time. But you're not going to get any action.
I can't see Rapid wanting that.
Oh.
Probably, as you say, short of flat calling is never going to get to the flop with that.
I think he should have flat called because, okay, you might lose the 2-pair, whatever, but his situation is where he needs to get back in this game.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it's a great hand. He's still going to be a big favourite even if he just gets a caller.
Mm.
And
do you think, it's funny, I was reading something with Paul McGrill in it, and they were talking about the mini raise, where in situations where people are doing that pre-flop, when I want to make a move, it's 3 times the big blind, and we've seen Pulsar doing that a lot. Now they're saying that for some reason, somebody who's constantly be getting ace-king, pair of jacks, whatever, 3 times the big blind, when they get a real monster, they suddenly decide to just double the blind, as if that makes it more attractive to people.
but that's a tell in its own right, maybe.
Yeah, but I actually was, you know, in my game a bit earlier on, I was doing some of this double literally because I've been writing about it today, so it was in my head, but sometimes the bigger the hand, the more likely somebody is that if they've been consistently making that bet to 18, or, you know, whatever the blinds were reflecting, that 3 times the bet, they think, oh, I don't want to scare people off, so make it double. But a lot of people actually fear the double because it seems sneaky.
That's why I said to him just to call there, because then there's nothing to fit. Well, you know, he just called.
Yeah.
So now it may be, you might just get someone interested.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a queen comes to the flop and they hit the queen. Yes, I can see, I see what you mean. I've been discussing quite a lot recently on here. I don't know if
This could be dangerous. That was inexpensive. I'm surprised that was inexpensive. He hit his two pair at the end there. I'm wondering if the flush actually saved him from investing more. Sorry, please.
I've been experimenting myself because I was looking at hearing about. I've been relating about Alan Goering, who has got an amazing tournament record considering he doesn't play so many tournaments. And he basically, his favourite raise is just twice the big blind. And his maximum raise he ever does is 2.5 times the big blind.
Really?
And that's what he does all the time. So what I went to experiment a little bit. I went in a short-handed no-limit cash game, 5-seater, and I restricted myself to 95% of the time only doing a flat raise. So in the end, they just accepted this was my raise, and I did it with aces or Jack 10 or whatever I wanted to raise. 7-8. No, it would be suited for me. I don't like the offsuit. I like the suited. With whatever, and I just kept on doing this flat raise, and what it meant was I was able to do this a lot of times. Obviously my raising percentage was very high. If they wanted to come over the top, I could easily get away from it, and I haven't left much behind. And then I could get straight back on the horse again and do the flat raise again next time. You can't shut me up just because you came over the top me once. I'm not frightened. I'm back again. And it was quite interesting. Now, I was talking to, actually it was Carlo Citroni. He was up in Aspers, and I was talking to him about Alan Goering. He's not such a fan of his, but he said he is capable of just getting blown out the water very, very quickly, or
building up some
massive
sort of,
stacks, because he's all the time in your face, raise with all random hands, and then he will call re-raises with some funny hands, and then maybe wipe people out with some monsters. But it's interesting to see what I think it's good to. I think it's good to either raise the same, whatever your level is, all the time, because then there's obviously no tell at all. Or to really vary. And now really mix it up. And I think the worst is to have your set raise for your different hands. I mean, that's obviously terrible, unless you're at a table where they don't know you at all. Now, for a while, you can do your favourite raise for that type of hand, no problem. But once you've been with them for a while, you've got to give them credit that they'll be picking up on, you do 2.5 times with ace-queen, but you do a flat raise when you've got kings, and you do 3 times when you've got this, and you go 5 times when you've got a pair of sixes. You know, eventually they'll
and I think that's even more so relevant with online poker, because obviously, what are you mostly watching? You're watching betting patterns. In a live game, you might be trying to pick up physical tells. There's lots more distractions. Online, here it is laid out, and all the information you're getting is the tells. And that's the point I was making about people who, with their ace-king, ace-queen, 3 times the blind, they get aces, and all of a sudden they're thinking, how do I play this? And I think, as you say, that you've either got to just totally mix it up. Sometimes you flat call with kings, sometimes you double it, but you've got to keep people moving, because if there's one thing people are going to pick up, it's if you really do have a pattern. Because it's just so in your face with online.
And that point you make is very good, of course. It's online, is you're looking at the betting patterns.
Because that's all there is.
But if you've got the FHM specially trained dealers, you can get a lot more information if you're actually playing in a live game.
Well, it really depends what your objectives are, doesn't it? What's your positive expectation of an evening like that? Slap? Hotel key? Or the back of a police truck?
I suppose all in wouldn't be too bad.
Oi! Pair of queens. Well, this is
quite tight.
Yeah.
Are you? Or are you going to raise? He's not quite tight. He's fine. He just raised it up there.
Nibbling back and forth once again. My brain just keeps seeing 18 as 2 6s. I've no idea why that is. I just keep wanting to go, well, he's just doubled it up. No, he hasn't. He hasn't.
He's tripled.
I do know maths sometimes, honest governor. I'm still feeling awful about my king jack. I just can't let it go. But no, I'm actually far more interested in that whole situation with the trips and the flush. That is a very interesting point to me.
You are thinking differently on that, aren't you? You're not just humouring me there, are you?
No. It's very seriously, very seriously.
I said you want to celebrate that. You don't want to be upset about it. Celebrate it, because you've got your market.
Absolutely. No, I'm loving it.
And even if you've been cursed enough to walk into the made flush,
You still have opportunities to get paid.
you're only 2-1 against to make your house anyway, so you're still not dead and buried. Trip aces for a rapid flex. Not much else out there.
Oh, wow. Second quads of the night. We've seen the jacks with the king. And there we go again. Another random hand, thanks to the poker gods. It's amazing. But again, the point, I think we do encounter this a lot, as far as you can't believe the hands you're seeing. But think about how many hands we see in the space of 4 hours. The speed that these hands fly by. There are a lot of opportunities to see these kind of crazy things. I was talking earlier on about some of the live players.
God, there are 4 aces again. Look, it's amazing.
No, it's the same one, James. But that's the thing, is people sitting getting very bored.
Look at that. It's unbelievable. What's going on
that's
here?
the 3rd time in a row. Please stop showing that. James is getting awfully excited.
Quite tight. Come on, crank it up. 18.
18, 2 6s. Don't forget it.
I wonder if Alan Goering has that trouble if he tries to do twice a big blind.
Well, once again, Pulsar's kind of drifting off here a bit with 3 6 and 5s might be...
Pulsar falling away from the field.
You might fancy doubling up to 18. What is that, 15?
Yeah, new price.
Price, yeah, it's first time.
Ah, it worked.
I'm really into typing in ludicrous numbers. So rather than bet 15, it would be 1,472. Just because all the chips appear on the table in such an attractive spread, no one knows where they are.
Yeah, but that's not good enough. You should put 14,722.99.
You're right. Once again, you're right. I'm going to make a note of that.
Yeah, and it really now, it just
So
fills
we've
the
got,
holes.
we've got King Jack, we've got the trips with the flush. And
Whoops,
also
there we go. Here we are, Pulsar's moment.
Oh!
Oh no, like a knife through the heart. It was the first card out. It was the 10. Pulsar's pulses stopped altogether.
Like a shot in the night, he's out of here in 3rd place.
But
210.
well rewarded.
210 buckaroons.
That's pretty good for 3rd. Wow, there it is. 10 king against 9s. The 9s were favoured pre-flop, but there was no waiting. The 10 appeared immediately.
Unlucky to be faced with 2 overcards there. Better than average hand for quite tight.
And now we have a very interesting heads-up situation where it's a... Look at this. It can't get any closer than this. It's amazing. But there's a raise there. Quite tight. Wants to try and capture the lead. And he will capture the lead if he wins this. And there he is. We have a new leader. Quite tight.
Well, we joined the table 6-handed and he was the top of the pile. And then he's been languishing.
And it's a raise from 3-5 from Rapid Flex. Queen 7 surrenders. Aggressive play. I've mentioned it several times before to our viewers here. Of course, in this situation, Matt, the small blind is out of position, whereas normally the small blind should be on the button. So therefore it means that the person on the small blind here does not have to make up the small blind as many times as normal in a heads-up situation. Yes. Because he's out of position. He can actually be a little bit more selective.
Have we ever really understood why that is the case?
I don't really know why at all. It quite annoys me, really. I mean, why can't they get it right?
I don't know. It's such a strange thing.
I think the software guys just at the start did it and never changed it.
And it totally changes the shape of heads up, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Because of that, you know, the big blind's got everything. He's got position and the big money in there, which is too much.
It's a strange one. Quite tight. The blind's now 4,000, 8,000. So at this speed with heads up, it's not going to take too long for him to get in trouble.
And here's a big hand, ace queen. Now you see that one we can play in the small blind. It's a nice hand. Heads up it is, and rapid flex. Decides to go along now. Quite tight. He's languishing now. Yes, he bets.
It's very big bet.
Sorry?
Not a very big bet there, considering, is it? I'm surprised by that. But did the job. But
he did do the job. I think maybe he chose that one because he wanted to say, look, I've hit this. I want you to call. He was trying to sort of Use a bit of poker psychology there.
Sell the story. We always say this, don't get bluffing. It's meant to like mislead, not baffle. You've got to sell your story in, haven't you?
Yeah. Quite tight. King 7. And he raises again. He's desperate to get back into this. The blinds are 4,000, 8,000, 12,000 around. And look at this. He's back to 78. Well, his rapid flex, no, he surrenders and gives him the money. 82, clawing back. Rapid flex there, just over 2-1 on favourite to win this.
That's not too shabby. 32 grand. Gets called. Rapid for his sins has hit part of it.
Oh, it is ace 10. Oh, he's got the flush.
Oh, hello.
Unbelievable. And we have a new leader. Quite tight.
Wow, Rapid's going to be kicking cats for weeks.
Oh, you've learned something else as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure I really like it, but I'm just going to say it in case it's something that poker players say and I want to look good. 9-7. Wow, Rapid's got to be loving poker right now. God bless the river. You know, it's a beautiful thing. Where would we be without the river? They took it away. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Well,
there
suited
could be
ace.
trouble ahead. And, well, no connection for Rapid. He doesn't have to lose all his chips here at all. But one feels he's going to bet. Yep, he does. Quite tight. Well, Rapid, you don't call this. Surely not. Don't say.
Oh, well,
yes.
He's done it for him.
He's
Only an ace.
And it was suicide.
Well, there you are.
Well, Rapid, you played so well, but in the end there, okay, we know we could see the kings, but it did feel like suicide. Why was it suicide? Because there was still plenty of play left.
Absolutely.
I think it was very considerate of you, knowing that our time was running out, but...
Exactly, well, it's good for us. And just to let you know there, so we had Rapid went out with $336.
Yeah, brilliant.
Fantastic. And then, of course, our winner, $504.
Rapid, I'm not being funny, I thought you played pretty well the whole tournament. I liked the play, but at the end there, I don't know what happened. Why did you suddenly say this had to be the one? You still had plenty of time left. I know was that a little bit of tilt after losing to that horrible flush which came along?
Possibly so, possibly. But I mean, ace-6, and he maybe didn't just
no
believe
connection
it,
though, but no connection at all. He had nothing.
But isn't that the way with heads-ups? How many of the flops really do you connect with?
Yeah, but the opponent there had shown its strength all along. I'm just saying, I think it possibly was a reaction to that horrible... where it was nearly all over, the guy was dead and buried,
Bang.
There came the flush on the river. I think it was a reaction to that. And what I want us to learn from that is when we have that horrible bad beat, please put that in a separate compartment.
Chill
and
out.
now look at your hand as it is now. As I said at the beginning of the show, I want to forget about everything else. Say, your problem is you've got so many chips, the blind to this, what do you do next? And I don't think you lose all your chips.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. We've just got time to sneak in a couple of quick emails before we head off for the evening. Hello, James and Matt. This is from Rob. Do you know whether there are any live Omaha high-low tournaments? I've been playing it for about 6 months now and think it's just about the most enjoyable poker game going. Plenty of dead money, absolutely, that's where you'll find me, as well, which is reflecting nicely in my poker account. There doesn't seem to be much around besides internet play, so I wondered if you had any info to offer. Pity you can't show. I love the game. Any thoughts? You're a live playing man. Do you know where you can find
There's not a lot of
Omaha?
Omaha high-low tournaments. You can get Omaha high-low cash games, plenty of them. Like in Luton.
Yeah.
They're always playing Omaha high-low there.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Gutshot does an Omaha high-low tournament. Maybe I don't offhand. I don't know of one.
I mean, I know it's our standard answer, but the truth is, jump on the internet and do some searches for it, because if they're anywhere, you will bump into them. I agree. I love playing Omaha.
You can get Omaha high-low tournaments on the internet, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that's what you're saying. You're enjoying it on the internet, but you want to go and play it live.
Yeah.
Very tricky to find. Even somewhere like Vegas, where there's games everywhere, it's very hard to actually bump into.
Bit slow for a tournament.
It is, and it's
live
very
tournament,
tricky.
a bit
Lots
slow.
of dead money, though. That's where you'll find them.
You know what I mean?
Well, look, we're nearly done. Thanks ever so much for joining us tonight. My thanks to James.
Thanks, Matt. Enjoyed it.
Tomorrow, more James with John.
You're well informed.
I know, sir. See you again soon. Thanks for joining us. Good night.